You ready?
Live stream started. I'm going to record too as a backup.
Okay.
That's how it is.
So today's November 15th. This is the meeting of the Economic Development Committee of CB11. My name is Veronica Castro. I'm the chair.
Joanne Rubino, co-chair.
Edward Perez, committee member.
Edgar member.
Shradana Pearton, committee board member.
Miguel Dyer, committee member.
Duane Jones, member.
And then online we have Juan Luciano, who's a member, Mary Eckham, who's a member, Malcolm Gray, also a member, and Harry Santella, who's a member. So we're going to start the meeting. If you could sign in when you get a chance. So I just want to put something on the screen. I know that we have two cannabis applicants today that we're going to be reviewing. I want to remind everyone of the conduct statement. It is now currently on the screen for those at WebEx. Malcolm, would you mind reading it?
I'm here. Sure. I got you. Wait, and my eyes. 1 second. All right. Community Board 11 meetings must be held in a professional and hostile-free environment. The following rules of conduct are applicable to members of the public, Community Board 11 and Community Board 11 staff. Any action or behavior that disrupts or interferes with Community Board 11 business will not be tolerated during any Community Board 11 meeting and may result in individual or individuals being asked to leave. If the action or behavior continues, this may be considered disturbing the peace and the appropriate authorities may be summoned. If the meeting is held remotely, the person may be muted or expelled for the remainder. Repeated violations by the same person or group of people may result in further action by the community board. All public speakers must address the full board or the committee with their concerns. Electioneering for a position other than an officer of Community Board 11 is prohibited. Engaging in acts of violence, including threats, are grounds for immediate suspension of the right to attend meetings, pending review by the Ethics and Disciplinary Committee. Respect the equality, diversity, and privacy of all persons by respecting and valuing differences of culture and opinion. Refrain from unpleasant or disparaging remarks and other actions. Abstain from all forms of harassment by actively discouraging it, and disseminating false information is prohibited.
Thank you, Malcolm. So I just want to make sure everybody understands, we are going to adhere by this conduct statement today. I know that liquor license and especially cannabis license reviews and applications can be a very heated topic. I'm asking everyone to please be respectful. Speak, no yelling. If you're asked to stop speaking, because we're gonna adhere to the 2-minute rule. Everybody has 2 minutes to speak. If you're over the 2 minutes and we ask you to stop, we ask that you respect that for our time limit so everybody can speak, and we're gonna adhere to it. We will ask people to leave if people do not adhere to our conduct rules, whether online or whether in person. I want to give everyone a fair time to speak. I don't want anyone to not be able to speak. But I do ask that everybody please do it in a respectful manner so that everybody has a chance and that we can make informed decisions on what the community wants and what we hear from the candidates. So again, thank you. And I just want to make sure that everybody's clear on that. So now, that being said, let me see how I stop sharing. Okay. Okay, now we go. So our first candidate today is, well, let me ask, has the higher path representatives come in yet?
I know it. So.
Okay. So the higher path has not come in yet.
That's them. It says lighting, higher path.
Yeah, we're gonna do Lighting Supermarket first, anyway, it's next year.
Right, okay.
All right, so the representatives from Lighting Supermarket, if you could come sit at the table so we can speak with you.
Oh, you guys were here last?
Yes.
Yes. All right.
You could come back.
You finally made it.
Thanks for the invite.
Okay. So who's the owner of the location?
Myself and Eric.
Yes. And your names?
Alvin Malawi.
Austin Marty and Eric?
Eric.
Okay. And you two are partners? Okay. So you're currently at 711 Lydic Avenue. This is your location, right?
That is not a location. So we have a letter of intent to
Okay.
buy out a location, close it down. And both them dispensary license.
So you have nothing whatsoever to do with this location at all? There's no
Nope.
partnership, no relative, nothing?
Nope.
Not gonna find in some double LLC in Delaware that you guys are like part owners of that, right?
No, we have an agreement with the landlord and with the owner. So if we do get the license, we have the LOI and everything. So if we do get the license for the dispensary license, if we get it, then we are able to rent it from him and buy out the space.
And what's the agreement? You said the owner of the
The building.
We have to buy-
building, but not of this
No,
particular.
the business, we have to buy the business from this particular guy. His
Yeah.
name's Sam.
I'm the owner of Mr.
Okay,
And then we have an agreement already with the landlord to switch it from a smoke shop to a dispensary.
okay. So I just wanted, just to be clear,
Yeah.
you have nothing to do with any of this in here?
Nope.
Okay. So do you have any other business locations anywhere?
I do. So right now I operate 3 locations in California, licensed.
The
dispensaries.
cannabis?
Yes,
Okay, 3 and,
that's California. And
Yeah.
I do have over 50 locations here in New York, but in different restaurants,
Different type of business.
delis. that kind of-
okay. And do you have any smoke shops under your
I do have
ownership?
3 of them in the city, but it's convenience store, which we did apply for dispensary license, but those in the city take a lot longer to process.
What kind of business do you have in the various? you
I have a lot of
mentioned
delis, I have a lot of restaurants.
Delis
What kind
and
of
you
food?
provide food or?
Yeah.
Okay, Ed, I know you usually have questions.
Is there a time limit for the amount of questions that I can ask?
Under 20, no?
No,
Okay, it's not 20.
The sky's the limit.
You guys were here the last time that we had a hearing and you heard all the questions that I asked.
Yes.
Right? Now I went to that business before coming here. That's one of the reasons that I was late.
Mm.
And I'm not gonna get into a whole myriad of questions because I know that the public is gonna have their input. So
Mhm.
you're gonna have the public to answer for. My main concern is how will the dispensary ensure that cannabis products do not end up in the hands of minors?
So the way it works, we have to follow strict guidelines in OCM, like state laws. So the first thing you do is when as a customer comes in to any dispensary, there is a security guard outside first. Check out your license. It has to be scanned. That's first.
State ID.
And then state ID. And then when you go inside to buy something, we have a POS system that we have to provide to the state. When you process anything, any sales, you have to scan the ID, the license or ID, whatever, again, to make sure if a person is under 21 or so on, it will come up as system red flag. They cannot sell to that person because it's at the age or it's
The age is 21. and-
21, yeah.
21.
What steps will be taken to ensure that all cannabis products are tested for safety and quality?
So the people we buy from are licensed growers in New York State. They do give us a list state of who we can and cannot buy from.
The Department of OCM.
So
provides
that's, yeah,
that.
so you have to follow those strict laws.
Now, how will you address potential concerns related to noise, odor, or traffic in the neighborhood? Because that street is very busy.
It's a very busy streets. We do open late, and then we close early.
What about the odor and the noise?
The orders, we clean as much as we can outside.
Now I'm talking about the odor of people smoking because somebody's
We
gonna
do not-
buy
We do
in
not
there.
allowed people to smoke outside. We put signs that we do there, and we do work with the,
And it's illegal anywhere to smoke inside as well, inside these kind of businesses, it's like a dispensary.
So what are your plans for engaging with the local community and addressing concerns that do pop up after you guys get licensed, if you do?
So we do have open communications and we would address any concerns, any questions with the community. So anybody come in, we will have sit down questions of if the community thinks that we could change some certain things to make it better, we definitely.
Did you put together a community action plan or anything
We
to
do
that
have
effect?
it. I don't have it with me, but we do have it. And I
Okay.
can forward it or to whoever.
You can
Um,
forward it to Chris Kirker at the community board office. That'd be great.
So we do have that from California. We just change it up. It's all similar, same thing.
Are there any plans for local hiring or supporting local businesses?
Of course. So we did grow up in Lydic area, in this area, White Plains area. So our main concern is to give back to the community. By doing it is to hire people that have been affected, that were arrested for cannabis in the past. So that's definitely a big thing for us. Most of us that we have are employees in California, the same thing. People have been arrested before. We give them the first opportunity to jobs wise.
You know, you're telling me you have nothing at all to do, you're telling us you have nothing at all to do with the business that's there right now.
Yes.
Okay. In terms of ownership and equity in your business and stuff, who's the primary owner?
Myself and Eric.
Okay. The brands that you guys are gonna carry
Yep.
in there. What are you thinking of carrying in there?
We do everything from edibles.
Are you gonna do punch bars, things of that nature?
It depends on what the area
So-
uses.
I'm sorry. So it's still a great area in New York State where
We can.
so certain companies or certain brands have yet to come and filed for the licenses here. For example, Punch Bars, like you said, this company, whoever it is, will have to come to New York State and open their own kind of lab tested farm or whatever they do to make up that product here in New York, not associated with California. Obviously, they're gonna have to do the same thing they did in California here in New York.
So you're not gonna bring stuff that you have from one of your stores in California?
No,
That's
if it's
pretty cool.
100% and it's like authorized in New York, it's gonna be whatever New York has. I don't know if you ever been to one of the current open ones. It has nothing to like the brands that they have here. It's not what they have over there simply because whoever first were able to like open up and create the product that they're selling in the legal dispensaries in New York City right now. So those brands are the ones that are available right now and are basically
That's what it's supposed to be.
authorized by the Department of OCM. So those are the brands that are available right now. In the future, we are 100% sure that this will come and more brands will come in New York. For example, Cookies Dispensary is a big dispensary in California. They currently have a store here in New York, but it's a
Saw it
clothing line
downtown, yeah.
on 36th Street.
Yeah.
That's their first step into becoming here in New York, where they will
Open up a clothing store, then
that right now they're a clothing
Then
store.
go
Later
into
on, once they
marijuana
get their
things.
license and then they're
Wow.
authorized to make the marijuana or whatever product they sell, they will make them here in New York State with New York State laws.
okay. I'm glad you mentioned Cookies. Very cute logo, very colorful.
I know, yes,
It's very attractive.
yes.
Talk to me about your branding and your marketing.
So branding and marketing. One, we're planning on covering the interior, not the interior, from like exterior, where it doesn't lure minors or underage kids to try to come into the business. It's gonna be nothing that lures, it's gonna be something that's more for an adult, not for a minor or children or anybody under 21. It's what they're branding, their companies, what they're offering, what their brands are that will come and we will have inside that store if we potentially get it. That's the stuff that we're gonna have, but we're not gonna advertise it. I think you're gonna have to, in a way, advertise it inside, but not outside. But mainly whoever's gonna be inside are gonna be the customers that are purchasing. So,
And then the state of New York will not allow us to use any certain bags that look like candies or so on.
yeah,
There's
so
rules
No?
and regulations. Legit.
I don't think so.
So
I doubt
New York,
New York is gonna allow
they were
that.
not allowed to do this.
I
They're not
doubt.
allowed at all.
But they're out there.
They're out there, yeah, it's certain.
But not,
states.
not
That
licensed,
store specifically.
not licensed dispensaries. So
Not
that's a
licensed.
big difference.
So you have nothing to do with that store. So when you guys get that location, it's
But we'll
completely
close down.
different
It's gonna be,
inventory.
everything's gonna be changed.
That location will close down. The whole structure, the whole thing.
Cause even that location, the way you see it now, it's cut, it's halfway.
Yeah.
We still have to break.
Right now it's
it.
900 square feet, but the whole space
The whole
is
store is like
almost
about
4,000
4,000
feet.
is
So-
deeper to the back.
Yeah.
It's double whatever you see right now.
What are you gonna do with all that space?
We're gonna make it larger, plan on doing events, whatever we could do over there.
Events,
Yes,
okay.
but events when something, you know,
Let's get back to the community to,
Yeah.
any concerns that anybody wants to know.
It's gonna be
more
an event
information.
space, but marijuana related stuff,
No, no smoking inside.
no smoking inside. It's
okay,
illegal.
not a
No.
club or anything
No, no,
like
no,
that, or a
no,
lounge,
absolutely none.
No.
okay?
What
Yeah.
is gonna be the name of your location? Because here you have Lydic Supermarket Incorporated.
That's we have to use a DBA. This agreement that we use with the landlord and so on. He wanted one to put on, and so he's gonna use I Lifted with the one same brand that we have in California.
What's that? What, how you spell?
I Lifted.
I?
Lifted.
The letter I, lifted.
And I can send you the information.
All right, one more question, and then I'll give it to everybody else.
Malcolm.
I'm very bad with names. I'm sorry, what's your name again, sir?
Eric.
Eric? Eric, what's your specific role and responsibilities in the business?
Business, well, I'm still kind of young, so like these guys kind of like help me out, like build. So I'm still just learning from them.
You're a partner in the business,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah, but
So,
I'm,
like, what are your roles and responsibilities in the business?
Well, I'm looking over things. They send me to like some shops to look over things, make sure inventory is good, all
Are you gonna
that.
be here in New York?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, and how does your role influence decision making in the business? And what do you
Well, I mean,
because obviously if you're looking at
yeah, yeah.
stores while they're not around,
Yeah.
what-
well, also like I'm younger than I'm like a couple years younger than them, so like I see things differently. So if they ask me, I tell them how I see things because we all look at things differently.
okay, so it's like another pair of eyes.
Yep.
Okay.
So as far as the ownership of you two guys,
Yes.
are either of you justice involved?
No.
No. So
This,
there's no.
this new license right now is not just involved license. This is the license that actually OCM applied, provided now for everybody.
Right,
This is the open application, yeah.
but there is a preference for.
No,
not
I think
anymore.
that one is
Not
done.
anymore.
I think that application is no longer, I don't think they still accepting that anymore.
No, they're
No,
not.
the first
I don't think so. The first one for the justice involved, I think they're not accepting.
They brought it to
already have
court.
what they have.
They brought it to court. and they
Okay.
opened
Now
it up.
it's open up for.
I know that it all just changed and everything's still kind of
Yeah.
in flux. Okay, thanks.
So are all of you gonna be on the premises when it's open?
Yes.
So one of
Um,
you at least will be on the premises at all times.
I can't. I'm very busy. I'm the financial guy.
Okay.
I come in, I open stores, and then my partners will be running the day-to-day operations. But I do have to fly in most of the time. But I do have a lot of locations in New York, so I'm very, very busy.
So you're located in California?
3 different states. So Michigan, California, and here.
Okay. And Eric,
Here, I'm from here. I'm from Queens, so I'm always
But I'm from the Bronx originally.
Yeah. So me, I live in Yonkers, but I'm always, in the Bronx. We have places in the Bronx, like other businesses and stuff.
okay, and you're,
I'm from here, lived in Kruger. Right now I currently live in Pelham Gardens. So I'm from the area, I'm there all the time.
okay, so at least you three, one of you will be on premises at all times.
Yes,
So we're not gonna, if somebody goes in, they're gonna be able to ask for one of you guys.
Yeah.
of course.
Because as owners and partners, we want to make sure that it's being supervised. So at all times, you guys would be there,
Yes.
one of you at least. Yeah, it's just something.
May I ask what
Wait,
your connection was?
We're not finished yet, Malcolm. We'll get to you. I see your hand here.
What your connection was previous to?
So we're up in the same country, these three. We have businesses together, other businesses. That's the first time I found out with him.
Okay.
But they know him very well.
Okay.
Does anybody else from the committee have any questions? On here? Okay, so let's go to Malcolm.
Yes, quick question. Veronica, are we allowed is the application public? Like, that could be seen online, right, for everyone?
Which application? The
This
application?
one. Yeah.
What we have is the notification to municipality application. I can
Right.
show that.
Yeah.
It's
okay.
in the minutes.
Yeah, what I would
It's
like, what I'd
hyperlinked
like
in the
to know.
minutes.
Okay, cool. What are the names of the gentlemen that are there? What are your names again?
Adam?
Eric.
Nawab.
Okay.
How-
Eric is currently there, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So one of my concerns here is that I don't see a for rent, for sale, any type of public notice that that space that they're looking at is, you know, looking to be transferred over to someone else or even open to the public, right? So like I really would love to know, like, you know, what is your relation to the current owner and leasee of that establishment that's current there? And
So-
how would you know that it's, you know, ready to be rented or something like that?
So basically, as you know, Lydic and White Plains is really hard to get anything that for rent. There's never a place for rent, and if it is, it goes really quick. So for us, on Lydic is the best streets I think in the area, a very busy foot traffic. So I was able to convince the owner to buy him out, close the store, do reconstruction, and open if only we get approval from his board and the license from the state.
Can you, what is, so like, what is that conversation with that owner like? You know, like, you know, do you have a personal connection with them? Like, how do you know who they are?
So I know him, they know him from their country. So I don't know him
yeah.
personally, but the store's not doing well. So when that happens, normally it goes up for sale and you can buy the lease to do any different businesses.
Right. So there's no public notification saying that that specific establishment is for sale or anything like that.
No.
That's just solely based on your own relationships.
No, because he still have a lease. He has a long-term lease, being a 12-year lease remaining on that. So he can now walk away from the lease. So he sells the lease to somebody else, and I'd be able to take that lease, which I have agreement with the landlord as well. Once I buy it, after giving him all my financials and so on, getting approval, to be able to switch it from a smoke shop to a dispensary license, only if we get approval again.
So
So
just so you know, Malcolm, we have a letter here that the committee is reviewing. One letter is a letter of intent from the current owner saying that they will sell the business to these gentlemen. The other
Right.
letter is a letter of intent from the building owner saying that they will lease the property to them.
No, yeah, I believe they have that. It sounds like they're just signing over the rights for that lease over to them, but it's still that relationship that I'm looking at, right? Because that establishment is already operating as Mystery. You know what I mean? And
Right.
Mystery currently it has a lot of it has a relationship with the community as it is, that it is a smoke shop, right? And even if, you know, this personally, I believe that, you know, if, you know, just due to the heightened sensitivity of this specific issue, right? That we will definitely want to ensure that whoever is getting that license, or we're supporting to get that license or saying it's okay, that they will be able to develop a healthy relationship with the community as it is, right? And what I'm finding it hard to justify that, knowing that what Mystery is currently, and, you know, just believing that this relationship between the owner and the current leasee, like, they don't have any personal connections with each other. It just looks like a sign off, and it looks like, and I really don't want to cast aspersions, but it really just looks like they're pushing somebody else to the front, you know, that is not outwardly associated with Mystery as it is on paper. To me, that's just what it looks like, and it's going to be hard to justify that, you know, without a public sale or something like that out there.
So,
This gentleman,
so basically that place used to be a furniture store. And he didn't do well, he lost the business. What happened was he switched it to a smoke shop because he couldn't pay the rent, thinking he'll do another business, right? So now what happened with the smoke shops, as everybody knows, they all getting busted down, some of them getting shutting down and stuff like that. So he's afraid that he might lose it. So now he gonna lose it. He can't open nothing else. You have no, nothing else to do with it. But he's committed to the lease. So he rather just make whatever money he get that we agreed on to sell the business. So in his mind, it's hard for him to continue because, as we know, sheriff department, OCM, they hitting everybody. They go into all these illegal smoke shops. They go in, they shutting down. They getting tickets left and right, and nobody's gonna stay there. If you're not legal by I don't know how long, but they're going, too hard on them, he definitely gonna lose one day.
So
It could
he's
be a
just
week,
trying
it
to
could be
milk
2 weeks.
it until the transfer.
What he's trying to, he likes, so when we spoke to him, we were trying to rent a spot on the corner. If you go down the block, there's a spot on the corner. It was too hard to communicate with the landlord, we can't get to him. This is why we decided to go to this guy and talk to him about it. So when all this butts happening with all the sheriff department and stuff like that, in the beginning, he was saying no, he don't want to. So I guess when all this stuff started to happen, and then now he changed his mind about it, a while back ago. So this is why we had an agreement with him that we're not gonna buy it unless we do get the license. And for the landlord, it's the same way,
Okay.
and that's the whole thing.
There's also a clause with OCM that if a person is known or under investigation for selling, illegally, that they will not be able to get that license at all.
Yeah.
So it just kind of raises a lot of suspicions for me, to be honest. But that's all my questions.
And they're very boldly operating that store, very boldly selling like marijuana products there. That's why we're like, a little skeptical.
That's why when we come
Well,
in,
I understand, but here's the thing. We trying to get a license to operate legally. It has nothing to do with me or him, regardless of the case. We're here to do it the legal way. So we don't want the smoke shops to be there. We don't want to do illegal stuff because it's not gonna continue. I could take a spot, do it illegally for a while, and then it's definitely gonna get shut down. What's the point? You have a lease for 10 years, 5 years, you continue with this going on, it's not gonna happen. We're trying to do it legally. This is why the guy, he probably, is in his mind, he'll just get his money. I don't know, he's making money or he's not making no money. I don't know what the situation is. But the whole point for us is to do it the legal way, or else we wouldn't be here. You know what I'm saying? We have the money, we could open business somewhere else, to be honest. And we have the money to open a smoke shop or a restaurant or whatever the case might be. We're trying to do it legal way, the right way, and the best way to do. Because again, we're from the same community. This is my partner. I've been partnered with him for more than 7 years. He's in the same area. He knows the area. We're trying to do it the right way.
So
You know what I mean?
I hear him, right? And Veronica, and correct me if this is like going a little too far, but I'm recommending that we try to get some sort of actual legal document that shows that transfer, that business transaction. Because I look at that and I feel like I'm looking at an email or something.
so we can get you any information you need.
Can I,
So
can I
you're
ask some
asking-
questions, please?
Yeah, Juan, just give me 1 second and you can
Okay.
ask next. You're asking for actual paperwork showing that they've transferred the lease over?
Like an actual,
That's not gonna happen unless they get a license. Now, you
The
can,
clause,
you could put something notarized showing that
yes.
somebody who signed this, if we can get a notarized
We get a
document.
notarized from the
So with
landlord.
an approval
And again,
clause,
this is just a
Contingent
request.
on the- yeah.
yeah,
This is just a request. It's not any, I just want to make it sure, it's a request from the committee to do it. It's not a requirement. It's a request because when we do these, there's no requirement to have anything notarized, but we would appreciate if you would show us a notarized document.
No problem.
Okay?
thank you for working.
So just to be clear, just to clarify, so you want a request with a notary from the
Landlord,
Showing both,
Landlord,
and
the
the owner of the
the owner
business.
of the
Yeah.
business.
so these, these notarized.
yeah, so they'll have to be signed again in front of a licensed notary public
So
for both signatures for your parties plus the party who owns
Landlord.
the building and the company.
Yes, no issue. No
Okay.
issue.
That's
easy.
Okay, Juan, you have questions? I'm sorry, Malcolm, you're finished?
Sorry, yes, I am finished.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead, Juan.
Hi, so gentlemen, I'm glad to see you again. I just have a few questions. You mentioned that you're in the midst of the application process, correct?
Yes.
So you have not yet been approved, correct?
No, we were sent here first for location approval before then.
So it is a condition of,
Yeah, so the OCM requires that a letter to municipalities where when you file the application, they send the letter to municipality and then this happens. It's a part of the steps of obtaining the license.
so let me understand, before the OCM approves your application, you have to go through this process first?
Yes.
Right, so
All right.
anyone that comes before us.
I have another question, just,
Yeah,
um,
just to let
so
you know,
you-
anyone that comes before us, they're giving us the notice of intent to file for a license
Correct.
application. So they're gonna file, but they have to come before us too, before they finish the filing, the filing process.
I get
Okay.
that. So now you, in the application, you have disclosed the fact that the four of you are involved in this business, correct?
No, this would be under the LLC. Only myself and Aaron.
Only two individuals are disclosed in the application, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And so aren't you required though by OCM to provide information as to everyone that has a financial interest in the business? Isn't that part of the application process?
Later on, yes, it is definitely, but not right now.
All right, so then there should be, so you would agree with me then that all of you should be part of that application, is that correct?
Yes,
Okay, and right, but you're telling me that you're not.
yes, but first we have to get the approval for the location. After that,
I know, but I'm getting somewhere. Do you have this application already filled out, the application that you intend to provide to OCM?
yes,
Okay. Would you have any objection to providing that application so that the board, the committee members can review that application?
yeah, no problem,
Okay, so you have no objection to doing that, right?
no problem, yes,
Again, not a requirement, but we would
no
appreciate it.
problem. We'll get-
Well, let me just ask a few more questions. That application will require the names of the individuals that have a financial interest. It will also require a statement of these individuals' personal history. Is that correct?
Yes,
Okay. And it will require the individuals to also submit fingerprints, correct?
yes,
So that a background check could be done, correct?
towards the end, yes,
All right. And would you agree with me that that would be information that would be valuable for this committee to have in order to determine whether or not you guys are individuals that should be doing business in our community?
absolutely.
I
That's
I don't think we necessarily need their fingerprints.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. I'm just going over the amount of information that we would be able to see if we had that application or or even a summary of the application. Right now, all we have is the name of, or the possible name of the business, right? And we have a possible location, and we don't have anything else, right? So if we're truly going to evaluate these folks and we're truly going to make a decision based on merits, right? Which is what I want to do. I want to be able to vote. My inclination is to vote for these people. I've seen these guys. They look like responsible people. They're already doing this. But if I'm going to have to justify these votes, right, as we sometimes have to do at the full committee meeting, I want to be able to say, hey, I have more information than just the possible name of the business and the possible location of the business. And yes, I like these guys because they seem like very serious business people. So I think we need that information in order for us to, at least I do, I shouldn't speak for everyone. I think I need that information in order for me to be able to truly consider their application and truly endorse their application if that's what's merited after I see the information.
So basically, he's asking for fingerprints.
No,
Okay.
No.
I'm not asking for fingerprints. I'm asking for a personal history statement. I'm asking for the information that would be in the application, right? Otherwise we're just rubber stamping you.
so right now, we don't have an application. We have an application for State Liquor Authority. We're putting together the application for the cannabis. So until we have that prepared, because this is all new to us,
Yes,
having a copy, what one is saying, having a copy of your OCM application would give us more information that
Okay.
what the notice to municipality provides us.
we can provide that.
Yeah, okay, that's-
That's what I mean. Thank you, Veronica.
Have you filled out a true parties of interest disclosure yet?
As of right now, no,
Not yet.
not yet.
Okay.
Is after the approval before there's the next step.
Okay,
The next-
so that kind of builds on the question that I had asked earlier about who owns what and who's, so if, again, if you're willing to share that with us, that disclosure, that would be nice, because
Yeah,
that's gonna have some
No
critical
problem.
information for transparency on there for
Yeah,
us.
it's not an issue. Even the state requires that, but in the meantime, you want to get us the approval first before they waste, so they're not wasting their time with the next steps.
So, Juan, do you have any
Fill it
more
out,
questions or?
No, you do. Give it to me.
Can I ask my question?
No, I
Hold
don't.
on, Jeanette.
Hold on.
Juan, do you have any
No.
more? You good? Okay,
No, I don't.
Mary, do you have any questions?
No, thank you.
Okay, who else is on the committee? Harry, do you have any questions?
No questions.
Okay. Is that everybody that's online that's on the committee?
Yeah.
Okay. So are there any board members that are not on the committee that would like to ask a question to our applicants?
I do.
Okay, we're gonna start with people in the
First.
office at the moment, and then we'll get to you, Jeanette, first, okay?
Thank you.
That's it.
Hi, you mentioned you do own smoke shops down in the city,
Yes. Convenience store, but yeah.
smoke shops.
But legal ones.
Legal.
We have the license.
They have licenses.
They have licenses?
Yeah, they have
We all-
licenses. We're one of the old ones.
So they're not smoke shops.
Oh,
they're
they're
cannabis
They're smoke shops,
dispensaries?
they're legal.
It's
So it's
smoke
from
shops.
Dispensaries?
Oh, no, wait. I think we need to expand on that a little
So
bit.
there is licensed smoke shops and it's illegal. So they are licensed from the city and state.
And this
We
is
do
in
have a CBD.
California?
No, in New
Here.
York.
Let me explain one thing.
In 2019, they stopped
Marijuana.
the licenses
Not marijuana.
for smoke shops.
Never
In
applied.
2019, they stopped the licenses
So
for
it's
smoke
just
shops.
using-
If the smoke shop that was currently operating in 2019 and prior and still have their licenses effective, they can still continue for as long as they have that license, as long as they don't get fines, tickets, points on their license, they get taken away from them. But as far as now, these locations, they have licenses from before. So after 2019, I think it was 2019 or 2018, that's when they stopped it. They stopped giving out licenses for
Smoke shop
smoke shops where they offer retail for electronic smoking, electronic cigarettes and tobacco. There's a city and state licenses that you must acquire before you can actually open a smoke shop.
But those smoke shops sell any cannabis
No,
products?
it's just smoke shops. They're
Okay,
just,
so they're just
they're just
tobacco.
tobacco,
drugs.
vapes. They're one of the legal ones that were here in 2019 and 2019.
Okay.
So right now, there is also other smoke shops that's legal because they have the license from before. But we could lose license if you sell to minors, they get points. You know,
Yeah,
if you sell to minors, if
There's
you
a
sell
point system on every
what the
license.
stuff, when, consumer affair comes and they check, so that's how people lose their license.
Very similar to the liquor
When they
license.
cut off the licensing, people just started opening new smoke shops without licensing.
Oh, I
So they get tickets and
That's how. it
stuff
works.
like that.
And
So-
these are the three that you submitted for the cannabis licensing for, that you're still waiting for in the city, or those three different
I
locations?
applied to 2 different locations.
So those are not the same as the legal smoke shops?
Now, my other statement was about the 1417. Should I mention it now? or
No,
wait?
can you hold that off until we
Absolutely.
get to that property? Okay, anybody else here that's on the board that has questions for this? Okay, Jeanette, go ahead.
Okay, so I heard you say a few things. One of the things you mentioned is that it's difficult to get locations on White Plains Road, and I'm not quite sure if that is accurate, since in recent months and years, we've seen multiple smoke shops pop up in our area. That being said, if the existing smoke shop at 7-Eleven Leidig is going to be replaced, I think that would be good for our neighborhood, because if you walk by there, their window blatantly is geared towards attracting kids. Now, my question in terms of your business plan, because you obviously have the money to buy out this group and move where you choose, why would you choose an area? This is predominantly residential and families, and literally another dispensary is vying to open around the corner. In your business plan, do you see the need in this community, which you say you have roots in, for 2 dispensaries that close
So-
together?
The first dispensary that you're talking about have not gotten approved by the landlord. I know the landlord personally, he has not gotten approval for that. Tried to rent out that space, the whole space, which that guy is trying to take only half. But the landlord is working with a franchise company that wants the whole space, which definitely a landlord will give it to a franchise instead of us or anybody else, because they would get the whole 30 years personal guarantee and so on. So getting spaces in White Plains, as you're saying, there are some locations that pop up but very small. Our we require 3,000 plus square feet. We need a lot of space, and it's hard to get space that will fit our needs in this area.
So adding on to what she asked, so the reason why that area, so the strip by the furniture store, where that corner store is, where the truck is, that strip, that building, landlord, it's impossible to reach.
Yes.
We were not able to reach him for the past 6 months. It's impossible to reach that owner. I don't think that guy wants to rent out storage. You can tell that's been vacant for years. Ever since I've known myself for the past 6, maybe 15 years, that deli in the corner that used to be called Alba has been closed for that long. I don't think this landlord wants to rent out any of his space. So that saying, the corner one, adding on to what he said, the corner one, the landlord is working on a franchise, but the other ones, they're small, or rent is way too much, or it's just a lot of logistics into it where it doesn't make sense for us or for the landlord as well. So just adding on.
And just curiosity's sake, is the landlord for your location and the landlord for the other proposed cannabis location, are they the same
No,
people?
different.
Are they related at all?
As you can see, that landlord has all his stores open. That one has all his stores closed.
Okay. Jeanette, do you have any more questions?
No, thank you.
Okay, anybody else from the community board online that may want to ask a question? Okay. Yeah, I'm going to start asking the public if anybody has questions. Again, I'm gonna ask that everybody please keep in mind the code of conduct. Everyone be respectful, ask your questions, let them answer, and then we'll do it in a very orderly fashion. Again, if you do not adhere to the code of conduct, you will be warned. If after the warning you continue, I will ask you to leave. Okay, so please, let's all just do this in a very orderly fashion. Does anyone here in the room have a question? Go ahead, Bob.
I have a question. Do you know the distance that you have to be, should that other store be open as a dispensary? The distance between the two stores?
1,000 feet.
Okay, is the two stores a distance of 1,000 feet? Because we've had the dispensary on Williamsbridge Road, and it looks like it's almost the same distance from the school, which was only 502 feet.
Yeah.
So can we get any way that this board can approve this contingent that it is 1,000 feet from the other one?
So if that person gets that location, which they haven't, and the same thing for us, we haven't gotten that location yet. So whoever gets it first and OCM approves them, that's when the boundary of the 1,000 feet will stop. So if that person,
Correct.
so if that person comes and continues trying to rent that one around the corner, OCM will tell them, no, you can't, you're not within that one.
Just
far
for
away from that 1,000
clarification,
feet.
Assemblymember Sakara had that meeting at the Bronx House. One of the things that the OCM representative stated was that they'll have multiple applicants for different areas. Only one of them within 1,000 feet is going to be approved. So we give our recommendation whether we want a particular place in our community. We could approve 2 of them, but if they're within 1,000 feet of each other, only one of them will be selected and approved by OCM. So that's just so you know, we're just basically our responsibility here is to make a recommendation for people that we would feel would be good for the community, or make a recommendation we feel they wouldn't be good for the community. But if we make a recommendation today for anybody that happens to be within 1,000 feet of anybody we had already previously recommended, OCM will make the decision on which one of them is going to be approved for that area.
Yes.
So it's not our determination to say, well, it's too close, so you can't because we already approved anyone. That's not our responsibility. Our responsibility is just to gauge whether or not we want a particular business in our community. OCM will make the final decision of who they approve the licensing for. Okay?
We all learning in this process right now. because-
Yeah.
Yeah,
All of us.
like last time when we met last time. it was
Yeah,
the
but
same
David was
issue.
here.
We had this issue in California as well, in the beginning,
The same thing.
same thing.
Yeah, so it's new to us. As we
I-
keep going, we're trying to get the process a little more straightforward so that it's easier for the applicants and easier for the community to be able to see all the information that they need to see about the applicants and everything. So we are trying our best to get everything in order. But we appreciate both the community and the applicants for your patience, because this is new to us and we're doing the best we can. Bob, do you have anything else?
No, that's it.
Does anyone else in the room have any comments or questions for 14, for the Lydic Avenue location? State your name.
Oh, Simon, I'm from Community Board. I reside in the Community 11. So if you guys don't get this approval, you're saying you're gonna be like maybe stuck in a lease agreement?
No,
No,
And-
yeah.
it's a letter of intent saying, hey, if we get approved by this board, then we'll continue the conversation. And we still have to get the license from the state.
From the state.
If we get license from the state, then we'll go ahead and buy out the owner of Mystery and take over his lease.
But that's what I'm saying. The owner of Mystery isn't doing well, so in doing this business, you're sort of helping the owner out for that
No.
location.
I'm helping
stay.
the community to bring safe.
You're helping that
products into
business
town.
stay there, a marijuana business stay there.
No.
No.
No. They're gone. We're shutting down a legal shop, basically,
To
to
put in
bring in
legal.
safe products that's approved by the state.
Right, but it's it's an illegal marijuana business for a legal one. But my point is, if Mystery isn't doing well to begin with,
A lot of people.
Well, we don't know if he's doing well or not. So the only thing is everybody's afraid right now from the sheriff departments and stuff like that. They don't want to get shut down and lose all the business. And then he has a lease that he's committed to pay.
right,
So he rather sell the business. It makes more sense to a businessman to sell it or get rid of it and still make money instead of shutting it down and lose all that
right,
money.
that's what I'm saying. Like, he's in a spot where he would have to just shut down.
And
So-
just to add on top of that, a lot of customers want something to buy that's safe. They know it's safe, it's approved by the state. And financially, it's a big difference when you're saying, close this one to open another one, is it a good idea? It gives good idea for the, for the community. To give you an idea, there's a location that opened in 23rd Street in Manhattan. He did 60 million in 6 months. So that brings a lot of revenue into the community, the city, the state.
Let me add one more thing,
employees.
I'm sorry. So now when you have legal dispensary, all the illegal shops, right, in the same area will be shut down.
Shut down automatically.
That's what they aim for. Once they have the dispensary over there somewhere, whatever, where it could be wherever. Any smoke shops or illegal shops that sells marijuana will be shut down.
Within the first
So,
week.
so if you have a legal dispensary here, then all those shops that you see, they doing all that illegal stuff will definitely be shut down.
Good to know.
So that's what they aim for. That's what they aim for. They most aim for
Just
that.
one last thing. I wish you guys all the success in the world. I myself smoke a lot of pot, but I don't know if you know Verilife. You know Verilife? They're a marijuana company. They had a location in Hunts Point.
Yep.
Which has since closed down and has moved to Fordham. So it's sort of like,
It's all about location. Some
I don't
location.
know, just making something safe, saying it's like a safe marijuana product. I don't know if that's necessarily gonna.
It will be because it's state approved that we have to buy for certain licensed, state approved growers. So everything that comes through there is very safe. And a lot of people want to buy something that's safe. It's already clinically trialed.
And you put like warnings on the products,
Yeah.
like smoking
Yeah.
marijuana can be
Yeah,
addictive.
That's a requirement. That's a requirement. It's a must for us.
Okay.
Just bear in mind that last time we had a guy named David and we happened to have them speak to David regarding how he's going about his structure.
Is there anyone online that has questions for the Lydic Avenue location? I see Ephraim, you have your hand up. Do you have a question for them?
Yes, good evening, everybody. The question that I have is one, I'm very curious because I understand that this is from the state. Has your company made any political campaign contributions to any of the local state elected officials or Bronx state elected officials to include city council members and borough presidents or even mayor in the last 2 years. You don't, I don't know if you have to go back and look at your records, but just very curious, and that's all I have to say.
No, we do not.
Okay. Anyone else online? Hold on a second. Anyone else online that has a question for this location? Okay. Go ahead, Max, state your name, please.
Laura Scuderi.
Okay.
I'm just curious, he's from California, you're from Yonkers, Eric, you're from Queens, and you're from the Bronx, right? Why this location? Why not Queens or why not Yonkers? I'm just curious, just curiosity. Why pick the Bronx?
So in the Bronx, he lives over here and he knows the area good. Yonkers, it's a different situation over there. It's so basically when we want to open a business, we do a study. We look up online what's the population, how much people live around, foot traffic. We go see it. So it's not just we pick a place and go. Plus the Bronx, that's where we be all the time. We go to the restaurants over here, Morris Park, all the time. So we know the area already. So foot traffic, based on our experience, it gives you a lot of customers, regardless of the community, regardless of people that live over there. So that foot traffic alone itself, we could know that at least I can afford to pay the rent and pay my employees and do all that stuff and make some money.
But it's residential, it's a lot of homes, not that much foot traffic.
And if you look at Manhattan, there's a lot of foot traffic with a lot of residential.
One person at a time, please.
So anywhere you go, you will find residential. It doesn't matter where. Even if you go to Manhattan, downtown, midtown, there's a lot of residents. People live in those buildings, not just businesses or just like that. So a lot of times you think it's just businesses, but no, a lot of people actually live in those areas. Our main focus is not just the area, is again the population, the people over there, the foot traffic, as they mentioned, us having a relationship to this area. As of me personally, I'm speaking. Again, I grew up in this area. I grew up on 2125 Kruger Avenue. I went to 105, MS 135. I'm from here. I moved out of there in 2007, and then I moved to Pelham Gardens, which is not that far away. So Pelham Gardens, and I've been there since 2007. But we are from here. Like we are here. Like I have a own lingering connection into this neighborhood, personally. So.
Yeah. Also, we here too. We went to Lehman College. Me and Adam went to Lehman College. We graduated. But we always in the Bronx. So every day, I'm like maybe 7 minutes away from. I'm right by Bronx River. So 5 minutes, 7 minutes. We all gather in the Bronx every day. We do what we have to do. We go do our records or whatever we do for the business. We all make it in Bronx all the time. So this is exactly where we at the Bronx almost every day. So.
For us.
Yes, state your name, please.
My name is Rita. And I was curious, you said that you did your survey of the area, correct?
Yeah.
So then you know that our crime stats here are very high.
Yeah.
And this particular establishment also attracts, because you're a cash business, is that correct? Are they?
It changes a lot now.
Yeah.
Has it?
I think 70% more is more
It's
towards
more
credit card
towards
with
credit card than-
almost
yeah.
Apple Pay.
Now,
When did that change?
ever since COVID. Ever since COVID.
Yeah.
Everybody comes and uses debit cards and credit cards. You don't walk
Technology
carrying cash.
changes.
I mean,
Everybody
you
uses
can do
cell
it
phone.
sometimes. You don't walk around with
Apple
Apple. You only walk
Card.
around with debit cards.
No, he was still.
But we still take cash. It's not a cash.
No, but it's federal, because it's against the law and
Yeah.
federally.
Federally.
That you can't use
Yeah.
the credit card
So-
for any bank.
Yes.
No limit.
Yeah. So as far as that, in terms of like the crime rate, we are gonna have security, licensed security people that's gonna be in the establishment.
Are they licensed security?
Yeah.
It's a far cry from a police officer.
Right.
Far cry,
Obviously, yes.
yes.
I wish I can get a police officer.
We wish we could get a police officer
Okay.
inside the
George,
shop
too.
staying there, but I don't think that's possible.
I'm with the Allentown Avenue Homeowners Association, and I can tell you our crime stats have risen dramatically. And establishments like this attract I'm sure you know. I know
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
it's happening.
Of course.
Am I right?
Yeah. Business these days, yes, of course.
People are getting killed.
Yeah.
People are getting robbed.
Shot.
Yes, shot, injured.
We see the news.
What, yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So I don't have to tell you. My concern is, this is such a busy thoroughfare. What are you gonna do to ensure, besides your security officer? I might as well, I could be a security officer, I will get a certification, I could be a security. What am I gonna do? What is a security officer in a supermarket gonna do for a person who just goes in and steals a product? They do not. So tell me how you're gonna ensure the safety
So
of our community, the people, the passerbys. How are you gonna ensure that?
So basically, if you, I'm sure you've probably never been there, but if you go to a dispensary, I went to a dispensary just to see how they operate and stuff in Harlem. It's called Gotham. So once you enter the thing, you enter the store, they have a security there. They check the IDs and stuff, and then they also have all the scanners and stuff to see if you have any weapon, if you have a knife, if you have a gun, and you're not allowed, not allowed to be in there. So this is one of the safeties, one of the safety things that they could do. Nobody could go inside with any type of weapon that would they have, like a gun, a knife, or whatever Michael,
That's great.
as of that.
What about the person who's purchasing the product and coming outside to the, and then the people that know that this person has product on them. And then those people get robbed, or shot, or killed, because that drug addict that's out there can't afford to come into.
I don't want to be very blunt, but you can't control.
No, you're right. You're right. You
You can't
can't.
control what goes on.
Sorry for, I'm sorry for the.
Yeah.
community.
I wish,
I'm so
but
sorry.
we do work with the police department to help out as much as we can. We do have cameras, and the cameras on all dispensaries are required by the state, and the police officers in the precinct get to see
Yeah.
live all
So
times.
some
So
businesses,
direct-
some, yes, the NYPD do offer,
To the
NY
local-
Yes.
Oh.
NYPD do offer to actually watch these cameras or connect them into the precinct or the near
Sorry,
precinct.
could you just repeat that? The NYPD.
NYPD do offer where a way in which the cameras for a business can be locally seen to them.
They
Basically,
offer that?
yeah, they offer that. It's an option. It's a service that they do, yes. It's just something, of course,
We
yeah.
have to do.
Anything that,
Yeah.
for security measures, obviously, she said it's cannabis and everybody.
And the metal detectors as
Yeah.
well.
Huh?
It's very helpful.
Yeah, it's pretty helpful.
If like be in emergency or anything.
There's also,
Already know already.
there's also
We also have.
system, the security system such as ADT, where it's like a panic button where you press it and it alerts the NYPD and they come as soon as they don't call, they don't alert, they just literally, you don't hear nothing, it sends them the notice. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Again, it's
Well, it works, it just sometimes depends on the precinct
Yeah.
and how long it takes them.
Well, that's what I was gonna say, response time on the precinct, the person's already injured.
Yeah.
Or-
Well,
So what do we do? But like you said, you have no control.
We try,
We try as much as we can.
we have security to
After
see,
they
but
leave our place,
I understand.
people tackle you. Right? I'm a very small guy.
I'm just bringing up concerns, community.
That's true. It's true.
So I just did a quick search on Google. There are different places that say that credit payment options, credit card payment options are not allowed. There are some places that say MasterCard is going to be shutting down their acceptance of credit cards. These are just Google searches. So I
Yeah.
guess this is something we'll have to look further into. But they did say that they're shutting it down because federal law prohibits the sale of
Yep.
cannabis
Yeah.
electronic payments. So that's just something in
Yeah.
response to her, said that's something we'll have to look further into, but that's what it's saying. You know, so, okay, does anybody else have a question for this particular? You first and then you, sir, please.
I just. wanna
State your
look
name,
at-
please.
Oh, Lisa, I live in Howell Gardens,
Oh,
69 years.
Hopefully I'll be there one week.
really love it out there.
Your legal shop, is it the same as medicinal, the same, do you follow the same rule
Yeah.
as a legal medicinal marijuana?
Yes. Yes. We have to.
Because I know for that,
It's very
they
strict.
they will not take cash, and that was during.
Whatever,
COVID.
whatever the guidelines or rules from OCM is what we're
We
gonna
have to
follow.
follow them.
Whatever
We follow
OCM
whatever OCM
guidelines will be, that's what we're gonna have to follow.
Okay.
These are the present.
Sir?
My name's Arthur. Born and raised in this county. I think I fell down a rabbit hole listening to half of this stuff. We went through this with OTV. And it wrecked every neighborhood it was ever put in. This type thing doesn't lend itself easily to legalization any more than prostitution or any more than bad alcohol. We had a prohibition that finally went out of style, and from that, we've had all kinds of SLA, police involved and everything else, and still we've had an awful problem with alcohol. Now we've got another crutch. You're in a neighborhood that doesn't lend itself to this easily. Children in particular. I know you can't sell it to children. I got it, yeah. It's not a chance. I just have a comment, no question. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, so does anybody else online or in person have anything? Okay,
I have a question.
go ahead, Bernadette.
Forgive me, but I don't have an application or anything in front of me. Is the license for medicinal or recreational or both?
Recreation.
Recreational.
Okay, do you realize that in a community, as what you want to have your business, that you would have, the community would have more trust if this was not recreational. If it was medicinal, there's a little bit more control. As was said, that there's no cash, there's only the card. And you might actually get the community to not have such pushback because of the ramifications of what recreational might actually attract to the surrounding area. So I just very curious why, if you cared enough about the place that you're putting roots down, that you would not have looked at the business at this point and just do it for medicinal and not recreational. And I understand business is business, but you also have to put roots down, and with something like this, it's very sensitive. So that's just a statement. I guess there's no answer. It's just a statement I'd like to throw out there.
Okay, thank you, Bernadette.
One last thing, you said you're modeling off of Gotham on
No.
Harlem, or you went to Gotham, you saw?
No, he doesn't need them.
I think they also said they wanted to do a consumption, they're also doing like a consumption lounge? Is that what you guys?
Nothing.
So I just wanted to see what's going on, how they operate, what they're doing over there. I seen the system for the security and I liked it because when I went inside, they had to take my ID, scan it before you even enter. And when you enter, they have somebody else with the scan to check just for security, yeah, for weapons and stuff like that. So this is where I just went over to get some ideas and, to get some, ideas and stuff about it.
Okay.
I don't know what they're doing. I don't know if they're doing a lounge. That's their problem, but.
Okay. State your name.
I just have, oh, sorry.
Hold on 1 second, hon. Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Anne Marie Bracone, and I live in the community for 27 years. And I guess listening to you guys speak, I want to hear what were your intentions around event space. And I did walk into the meeting a little bit late, so my apologies, but I'm just curious, why did you need a large facility and what's the thought process behind that?
So we do have a lot of products and design. So design is a big element of sales. If the design is really good, people will come in to look at it. So we're not gonna have full product of the whole space, but we do need to place in the back since it doesn't have a basement for inventory. To bag everything, the product there, bedrooms, the bedroom they have now, I think is very, very small. So we're not gonna use the whole space, but we're gonna make it a little bit larger. And some space in the walls may be all designed, not just for product. So we need that big space just for that.
And you made mention of events in the back. Do you have any?
Not in the back, no. It's
not
not
in the
gonna be
back.
something in the back where nobody can see from outside.
So
This is gonna be a part
So
of.
once in a while in California.
Events that we, go ahead. I was
So
gonna
once in
say.
a while in California, we do have events to give back to the community. Like if anybody has any questions or recommendations,
So like
what we can do
workshop
better.
or something?
Yeah.
along
What we
those
could do
lines?
better, Then we definitely bring a workshop.
Okay.
We can work with the group, with the board here.
Or
Recommendations,
fellow
and
owners or
get
business
some-
owners around in the neighborhood. That's what our intention, like business owners around us.
We also do, so when this thing happens, we also do like back to school things, or we put in some money, and during the school days, when school goes back, we buy books, pencils and stuff like that, and then we just give out to the families when they come in. They
Maybe
get to
no.
give it.
Maybe not get involved with schools.
No.
No.
We're not gonna say, my location that way, we're not saying that we do.
Don't do it at your location where children are. You
No,
do
no, absolutely no children inside the locations.
Just to be sure,
No, no.
there are not supposed to be children anywhere near it.
They will shut us down quick.
Okay, does anybody else have anything?
Can I ask, I'm sorry, to continue on what you were saying about, the foot traffic in this area? What, as a business person, what are the credentials, like what are the demographics that would make you feel that this is the right area? Because my personal opinion is it's not, but, that's not for me to say, but I'm just voicing my concern because I do have a child and I've lived here for so long. And I hate the fact that the thought in my mind that this is going to change the neighborhood and change what it will attract and what it will bring in, and for many reasons. And that's very upsetting.
So basically, we do pay companies, all they do for a living is they do survey. And they walk and they sit in front of the locations and they count. They don't count children, count grown adults over 21. And they keep counting to see how many people walk in foot traffic wise. And that's what determines how value is the location, rent wise.
And one more thing, just to add to that. So you mentioned you have a kid and you don't want. So basically, right now, as we all see and we know, we have a lot of illegal smoke shop that they selling pot. They doing all that stuff on the open. First, we're gonna have it legalized. We're gonna go the right way. And the second thing, like he mentioned earlier, we have something that is gonna be like, how you tint the windows for the car. It's gonna be like a tinted thing from outside. So all that glass is gonna be tinted. No kids can see what's going on inside. Nobody can see people buying stuff. Nothing like that. So everything is gonna be like it's black. You can't see nothing in there. So even if kids pass by, all they see is the security. They don't know what's going on in there. They don't see no product. Nothing that could, get to their imagination. Oh, let me go in, or let me try to do that, or all that stuff. So as of you guys see right now, the smoke shops is all over. There's smoke shops that get busted because they sell to underage. We see that all the time. We want to do it the right way. So I think it's.
And also speaking to with the sheriff, from experience that he has already with the ones that open up already in the city. As soon as they open, within a 10-block radius, all smoke shops nearby close. They shut them down because it will affect the dispensary. The dispensary is paying taxes to the city and state, which does harms. So it is a benefit. I know some people have concerns about that. There is a benefit of opening a licensed dispensary in the area. So anything that's legal nearby will get closed. You can always ask the sheriff.
Yeah, the sheriff did mention that at this John Sakara's thing, that these illegal dispensaries have to pay certain taxes. Those taxes, part of it, actually I have it on my phone somewhere, they get basically part of those taxes go into the community. These illegal shops are not paying those taxes, and none of that money is coming back into the community. So that, just to expand on what you said, that was something that they did say at the workshop that they had. Okay, anybody else?
Just two questions.
Oh, Juan,
Oh, I'm
sorry.
Yeah, there's a person there. No, I
You first,
I
go
can see,
ahead.
yeah.
Okay.
You first one, go ahead.
Oh, just two things. You guys mentioned that you operate some facilities in California, correct?
Yes.
Have you guys had any issues there with authority of any kind?
No.
So you guys are operating there well without any issues with children, families, police, anyone, correct?
Yes, it's a very strict rules that the state put on. It's not a 1 strike, a 3 strike or 4 strike. 1 strike, you're out. You would lose your license if you sell to a minor. Let's give you an example. We have to
And
follow.
I'm assuming that you're operating under the same standards in New York, correct?
Yes.
All right. And then the other thing is, now that there's licenses that allow for recreational use, is there an option for medicinal use, or is that basically eaten up by the recreational license?
I think it's been eaten up.
Yeah, it's
This has been eaten up already.
I think it's been eaten up. I think it's still available. It's just more people would rather go recreational than medicinal.
Right, because if someone doesn't, like, they needed a prescription before, but they won't need a prescription now, right? Because they could just walk into, okay.
They could just walk in and buy it.
We don't want
Right.
Okay. Sir, you had a question? Can you just state your name, please?
Yeah, my name is Barry of the Alton Avenue Homeowners Association. You mentioned earlier that you conduct these foot studies during the course of business hours, I was told. You say you openly do it early. Did you consider the after effects of what how the community is affected after hours? Is there any study done on what the establishment will do to the community when your establishment is closed? Your security that you do have or will have is for your business during business hours, what happens after business hours. Being that he's from Pelham Park in itself, shouldn't that be a concern to you as to what the effect of your establishment will do to the community that you yourself live in?
Give me an example. Well, what would do? I don't understand.
Well, everyone mentioned like the increase of crime, and I mean we've seen, I mean the stats already prove that. There's also the inclination of children being affected by things like that.
The only thing we could do is regarding that aspect is to communicate and help the police officers in the area. That's the best that we can do, because legally we cannot do anything besides that.
Right, I understand that. There's just so much you can do. But being that you say you are from the community,
yes,
why even
Put the community at risk.
Right, put the community at risk?
A risk from
being that you live here.
Risk
from here.
Risk from what? Exactly.
Risk from what everyone talks about, the same thing, risk from additional crime, the additional potential of children being affected by it, the addition of more traffic. This is a fairway where that's a fairway that directs right to a school. There's going to be a lot of foot traffic, not only from adults, but also from children, and regardless of whether or not you blacken the windows, children are not ignorant as to what goes on behind these closed windows, but you blacken the windows. So I just wanted, if it were my neighborhood, and if I know there was potential to put anyone at risk or additional risk, I just wouldn't open the establishment because I live here, and I know it would have an adverse effect, not during the working hours, but more so after the hours, after your hours of operation.
If I may, and I think Barry, what you're trying to say is something, doesn't it bother your conscience to contribute to the use of marijuana in adults and possibly children, and the adverse effects of the crime and potential risk to harm and injury?
So, as speaking of children, like we stated, we do not sell to children. As
Okay, hold on. Barry was one that answered the question, so you can answer the first.
As of children, we don't sell to children. Speaking to foot traffic, having the first license in the Bronx will bring a lot of foot traffic to the area, which all the businesses nearby will benefit. Correctly? Foot traffic doesn't increase sales, paying taxes. Does in our experience.
So, Verilife in the South Bronx.
Okay, no jumping in, please. We're trying to keep it orderly so we could get through this. Go ahead.
So basically, regarding of conscious about doing this in the community that we're in, it's not something that we want to do illegally. It's legal whether I do it or somebody else is gonna do it. That's number one. Number two, I think it's better for somebody that's from the community to have it than somebody that's outside that don't care about the community. Because if you're from the community, we care about the people. We know some people that's in the community. They can talk to us in openly way. or, you know, and we could understand them and they understand us. So I think it's better that someone from the community to have it than somebody from outside that don't even know the community or never been there or is not even here.
So also like adding to what he's saying, if there's a concern from the community, we are here and we listen and we will work on fixing it. Adjusting into what the community is asking for, not just not being from here and not caring about people who are around us or live in the area. So that's something that we are willing to work on and open to. So if there's any concerns or anything from neighbors, business owners, committee, we're open into any kind of questions or concerns, and we're open to working on it together as a community.
Edgar?
This is more of a general statement, but just a reminder that the place that they're hypothetically gonna replace is currently a legal smoke shop or open windows and everything that, you know, could attract people and that sort of thing. So if they were to replace the location and put in a legal shop, one that brings in more oversight and blocks out the windows, right? So I get that people are worried about crime and that sort of thing, and right now currently there is an illegal shop in the area. So it's a given that there's currently this level of crime right now, right? That's a given, because it's currently a place right now. Hypothetically, if it's replaced by a legal location where there's more oversight and that sort of thing, and then you're shutting down legal shops in the area, given that there's a legal one present, probability says that there's gonna be lower crime, given that there's less smoke shop in a given area.
Yes.
That's just something I want to point out.
Good point.
Miguel, I was about to call you.
Waiting for a while. We've been waiting for a while.
Just to kind of piggyback on what I said earlier. You know, it's not as if having a legal shop is gonna all of a sudden make everybody go smoke weed. You know, like it's already happening. I don't personally smoke, but I know a lot of people do, you know, and I think that like when in the conscience, you know, from the conscience edge, I would rather if my child or, you know, my 21-year-old child, if they were going to smoke, I would much, much rather them get their product from a very, very, very strictly, you know, regulated situation. Because remember, these kids are dying from fentanyl, you know, and that's, you don't know what they're selling in there, and they don't know what they're selling. All they care about is money right now.
That's right. That's right.
So, you know, when you get a situation like, you know, these guys, they're from here and they want to do, you know, they want to do it right. And then you get rid of all those, the illegal ones. It's a net positive. You're not going to stop people from smoking weed, and people aren't going to be like, oh, there's a weed shop here. Maybe I should start smoking any more than, you know, you put a liquor store in, somebody that's sober is going to start drinking. It doesn't, you know, but I think it's fair to say that it's probability says that it's a net positive for, you know, and as far as crime's going, we've got the crime up now with no legal dispensaries in the Bronx. And that's citywide too. So I really don't think that, you know, tying those two together makes a whole lot of sense. But again, you get rid of the bad guys and then you've got a good place to go. I think it's a net positive, and we get the tax revenue.
I just want to add before this comes in, liquor license, you have to have, when you come to here, you have to get a police report of things that happen in all these bars, people that drinks, and some people get stopped, some people get shooting. So people don't talk about that, but now this came out. Now we have to talk about this. But they are going legal, I think. What they have mentioned, and we have to abide with it. We just have some place. I'm going to use an example. Some churches in Morris Park, people double park on Sunday, and some people like I'm using in my Hindu church. You can't double park. It's a give and take here, you know. So I just want to bring up that example.
Okay, Mary has a hand up, and after that, I think we're gonna close it for this particular applicant. So Mary, go ahead.
Thank you. I just wanted to call everybody's attention to a couple of things. The discussion isn't so much about, so the reality is that cannabis is legalized in New York State. The reality is also that whether or not the board or the community members want it or not, OCM is going to approve a certain number of applications with or without our input. taking that into consideration, we would be remiss if we did not give ourselves the opportunity to open relationships and partnerships with prospective business owners who are on the ground on these commercial strips. And because they are doing things the right way, are naturally incentivized and inclined to report illegal businesses. We will lose significant value from those business owners if we continue to say no to everything, because the reality is, again, the discussion is not whether or not they are happening, it is whether or not we agree. Like, it's going to happen either way. Another thing that I would actually like to call attention to is there are actually several studies that have been conducted, peer-reviewed journals by a variety of institutions and universities. Some of their key findings, I actually did want to bring this up. So one key finding from the Humboldt Institute of Interdisciplinary Marijuana Research reviewed over 100 studies, identifying 42 in particular survey and research papers on the impact of cannabis retailers. And they actually did find that in the state of Colorado, which was one of the first to legalize cannabis use, they actually had a significant drop in the use of cannabis in underage people. So people under 21, they saw a decline in the use of cannabis. Additionally, they also did see a reduction in crime relating to cannabis in areas where legal dispensaries were opened. So to some degree, I think there is a lot that we do not know yet because this is the first time that we are going to it. So to rush to conclusions is not justified, especially when there is fairly extensive research from other states that have already followed this process. And yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Just one thing. And I may want to close it, but there was something was mentioned on the chat about a church being on White Plains Road in Leidig, which seems to me under the 500-foot rules. I don't know.
So it's
The church.
Yeah,
The church is not because the church is not a standalone church and it is renting a spot, it is not included.
Clear it up.
Thank you for that
It
clarification.
has to be a physical church. It's not just renting an apartment or building a floor.
Roxanne, do you have a question regarding this particular location? Gallery session is going to happen at usual time. We're just trying to make it a little easier so people could speak on this particular item, and then we're going to make a motion on it, and then we're going to speak on the next one, and then any other business is going to be in the gallery session. We're just trying to make this move along a little faster. So if you have something for the gallery session that has nothing to do with this particular establishment, then I ask that you just wait till we get to that part in the meeting. Okay, so if there's no more questions, I asked the committee, do we have a motion for this particular establishment? Someone make a motion?
Want me to vote now or make a motion?
I think we can vote now, that way the gentleman can leave. We've had all the discussion on this particular matter, and then we'll go on to the next one. And then we'll have discussion on that one. I don't think the applicants for the next one are here, but we have a lot of community people here that want to speak on it, and I want them to have their chance. So that's why I'm trying to move this one along if we, since we finished the discussion on it. So do we have a motion on the floor?
Yes.
My second.
No,
Okay,
we have to
what's the,
I make a motion.
what's the
motion?
Wait.
The OCD, right?
okay, OCM.
OCM.
Okay, so
Yeah.
we have a motion on the floor
Get a second.
by Shrano that we send a letter of no objection to OCM regarding the establishment at the proposed establishment at 711 Leidig Avenue. Do we have a second?
Wait, I'm sorry.
Wait, yeah.
There was something that we had spoken about, and I want to know if that request that we had made earlier could be part of
Provided,
this.
provided.
Even though it's not
Yes.
required.
That's true.
So.
So
we'll
can we
rescind
have,
the motion.
can we have some discussion as to the motion first? Can the committee do that? So that way we align
Make
the
the motion,
motion.
have the open discussion.
We're gonna have a discussion, so we're gonna restate the motion.
Well, Veronica, I think what he's asking is that if we make the motion live as it is, then we won't be able to amend that motion. So if we're able to discuss the motion beforehand, then we'll be able to
Right.
create the proper motion that will pass.
Right.
Okay, so one at a time. Who wants to suggest the wording for the motion? This isn't the motion. This is just so we can make a suggestion on what the motion's gonna be.
I want to hear what Ed has to say, so that way
No,
we
no,
don't.
no, I was just gonna direct it to you to come up with the wording for it.
All right. So I was going to add to the motion that our vote be subject to the production of, even if it's a redacted version of the application that was submitted to OCM. And when I say redacted, I mean redacting any personal information such as Social Security or information that is personal to the applicant. But that we be permitted to look at these personal statements that are in the motion, whatever results, if there are any, of criminal background history, and other information that is pertinent to the community, in order for us to present that to the board. Not the actual application, but the information that we get from that.
Yeah, even though it's not necessary.
It's not.
OCM does go through that for us.
Right, so.
I know, but the process
basically, we
is
don't
backwards
have
though,
that
because
much
we have to
information.
first.
Go
We have
ahead,
to
Juan.
first, we have to first approve, and then OCM determines whether or not they're going to grant you the license. But we're sort of approving blindly because we don't have that information that OCM would have.
Right.
I agree.
So basically, since our process is still being worked out,
Yes.
we don't have an application per se to ask you
Provide that.
certain questions. So what Juan is asking is if you're willing to provide us with a redaction, of course, no birthdays, no social securities, no personal identifying information such as that. You can redact all that information, but just send us, or even a summary of the application information. So that way we have a better understanding of your operation and of you guys personally, just like your background history, like a resume, sort of, but not a resume. Again, it's not required, but we're asking you
No problem.
if you would mind.
Yeah, no problem. So-
Okay, so we'll put that, we can put that in the motion.
And also a notarized
Yes.
agreement.
Yes.
No issue at all.
So you want the motion make like a notarize and all these things?
And the notary, and the.
Notarized lease transfer.
So those will be
Transfer.
notarized.
These,
Chris,
lease.
I need your expertise on this here.
I'm listening.
Can you please let whoever that was in? Oh, it's Lefty. Hi, Lefty. Okay. No, you don't have to.
Can I?
Um, is it okay for us to put that in the motion?
Yes,
Even though it is, okay? All right.
it's called
I just wanted-
conditional motion.
Okay,
It's gonna be a conditional motion that, we recommend approval. In condition for them to provide more detailed information on the application.
Because I'm also concerned that this would be spun as a yes. And I wouldn't want it to be spun as a yes, because there's still a lot of questions that we have.
So then you guys have to table it until they provide the information.
I mean, I was just about to say that if you guys are waiting to find out more information on this, then maybe a vote tonight is not exactly the most reasonable thing to do, since we need to review the information that's coming. Because basically, if we're saying that it's a no objection, as long as they provide the information, so if they provide the information, then we kind of have to send a letter of no objection. So it's up to you guys, if you
Mind
want
you
to
guys
table this.
Mind you guys that it's a 30-day notice, right? So they sent it to us in October.
Yeah.
October 23rd, so come November 23rd, the 30 days is done.
So we still have to vote.
But don't we have to, even if we vote on it, don't we have to then have the complete board vote on it? Isn't
Yeah,
that
it's gonna be, it's a recommendation that goes to the full board.
correct? So
So give it a date in which they have to provide the documentation. Give it until this coming Monday.
You can
If
vote with
after
the
this coming
conditions.
Monday, we don't have
Bring
enough information, then you guys can vote no, recommend no.
You do have additional 60 days.
30 days.
Right, you have additional 30 days.
So
But then
why
understand
don't you move
also-
the motion and then add on?
Well, no, because now I'm thinking about the 30 days, like, so
So Chris, they mentioned that at the Sakara meeting that we could request an additional 30 days
I'd rather request the 30 days.
from the OCM for this. Can we
Yeah,
do that?
you can request for an extension before the 30 days, yes.
So can we do that for this particular location so that way they don't miss the 30-day window and then we can table this until we get the information?
Yeah,
That-
just, let us know. We send a
With you
request
guys
for
back,
extra 30 days.
process out.
So if we get the paperwork ready by Monday or Tuesday, provide that to you.
So then we still need to review it before we make our vote. So more than likely, this would have to wait until our December meeting so we can review it, but we're gonna request a 30-day extension from the OCM for you guys, just to make sure that we get it within the 30 days. Because of the information that we're requesting, we need to review it, and then the committee needs to review it. And then the full board needs to review it when we do the motion. So it's like, it's two steps. We refer our decision to the full board, and then the full board as a whole will make the final decision on what our recommendation to OCM is gonna be.
Whatever the board thinks is best, I'm okay with that. That's my.
Thank you. So I make a motion that we request a 30-day extension from OCM for this particular, for the 7-Eleven Leidig location. So that way we have an extra 30 days to make, to review this matter and make a motion.
A second.
All those in favor?
So,
Oh, wait, discussion.
Yeah, I don't.
The motion that made that things over there have to supply, you have to put it in the motion. Where we request them, then they have to get.
No, we're not saying, we're not doing the vote on the objection or non-objection. We're making a motion to
Correction.
request an extension from OCM.
I just want to
Go ahead,
just
Vito.
quickly. So, I mean, we know that this is a competitive process.
Yeah.
So are we handicapping you
Yes.
by putting that
No,
30 days in?
Yes. Because
Because I'm afraid they put us on another. We don't know what OCM is doing, to be honest. We have no idea what they're.
It's my
doing. We don't know
feeling
how
that
they-
if we do a conditional yes and get the
That's how we always gonna do it, but they're.
yeah, because
Yeah,
I
we
don't
do
want
have
to unfairly,
Right.
No, that's understandable. I mean, and we didn't
add an
ask
extra
this
30
in
days.
our first,
No, we didn't.
so it would be unfair to.
Fair to them. That's I was gonna try to say.
Well, but since then, we have frankly learned more. This is why these questions and these issues are coming up.
And the same goes for us as well. We're still learning more into this.
But we can't be unfair for them. We have to do something because.
I know, but then the same will be able to be said about the next applicant and the next applicant and the next applicant after that. And then what? Like we ignore, we don't have access to information that we need in order to make an informed decision just because, the first applicant didn't have to submit this information.
Yeah, and I agree because the situation here is a little bit different, right? This is a smoke shop that is operating currently. So, for us not to do our due diligence in figuring out what the whole picture is here.
But let's not forget.
We're going to be doing a service to the community,
Didn't come over here showing due diligence as
Yeah.
well.
They are not actually related to the smoke shop that's currently there. That's a totally different business and they're not related to it.
We should be treating it like it's still a furniture store.
Right.
The other thing is that we're going to be drafting an application that will have a lot of maybe the questions that OCM.
Right,
You know,
that's
for
something we're
future,
gonna
for
discuss.
future. So that, we
Yeah.
don't have that yet, and that's not fair to them either.
Edgar?
Can we get the extension after them to turn in the materials by next week, whatever time, and then send it to everyone, the full board, to look it over by the full board meeting and then discuss and vote on it during the full board? So it's still on the timeline?
The full board meeting is on the 23rd, correct?
No,
No.
30th.
The 30th, that's right, because we have Thanksgiving.
That's what I'm saying.
So we do have time, okay. So, I withdraw my motion.
All right.
Number like 19 that we've withdrawn so far. But, so, for Edgar's, point, we have time if we ask that they provide the documentation by
Monday.
Monday.
Monday, right.
We could forward it to the full board. Have everybody review it, and then we could discuss it at the full board meeting. But just so everybody knows, November 23rd is the cutoff for the 30-day notice. So our full
That's
board
what I-
meeting is the 30th.
We have to extend it anyway, that's what I'm saying. We have to vote for extension no matter what.
So we could do that. We could ask for the extension, but forward the information out to the full board so that we can vote on it on the 30th. So they don't have to wait to the December meeting.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay?
Be safe.
Okay.
And.
Go ahead, make it.
Yeah.
What's the word?
Who wants to make a motion?
I would like to make a motion that we send in a 30-day
No.
extension.
But we're also gonna.
Second, yeah.
Vote on them.
Yeah.
Tonight.
Yeah, but then we have to do
So
both.
we're making two motions, right? The
Oh.
first motion is for the 30-day extension.
Okay, so Miguel makes a motion for a 30-day extension regarding 711 Lightic Avenue to be sent to the OCM.
Second.
Second.
But Veronica, that's contradictory. Because if you ask for an extension of 30 days, if they provide the documentation that we require,
30 days.
you guys gonna
No,
vote
no.
when?
Yeah, no.
On the
we said
30th.
We're going to still ask for them.
That's when the voting will happen.
Hold on.
Because.
We're gonna ask for them to get the information to us by Monday. We're
Right.
gonna send it out to the full board so everybody can read it. We're
Right.
going to vote on it as a full board based on our second motion that we're gonna make on November 30th. But because that's after November 23rd, which is the 30-day cutoff currently, we need to ask for the 30-day extension so that we're still within our time frame. But we don't want them to wait to the December meeting. Does that make sense, Chris?
No, it doesn't make sense.
Okay.
No, it doesn't make sense because you're asking extension yet in the same time. If you ask this gentleman to put a conditional motion and they're gonna provide their condition that you put, then rightfully
Yes.
so, they can request why it cannot be pushed at the full board.
Because
Logically-
the full board
logically-
meeting is November 30th.
It's Thanksgiving
The,
fine.
the end date for the 30-day notification to us.
I'm aware of that. I'm aware of that. But you're making a motion for these gentlemen by Monday to provide all the documentation. If they provide all the documentation by Monday, it's up to you guys to decide when and how. And you have to do it before the time it ends for the 30 days, because their obligation is fulfilled by Monday.
That's what we're asking for the extension.
So then if you have an extension, wait until next month. Don't have to make a motion now.
No, because
we don't
just
want to hold them up.
discussed it. Yeah, we just discussed it, but that asking them to wait until December gives them an unfair delay and them being able to send it into the OCM. So we didn't ask our previous applicant for this kind of information to delay a vote on their application, the current applicants. It would be unfair. So as a middle ground, we're asking that they provide the information by Monday. We get it out to the full board so that we can make a motion on it at the full board, so the full board can vote. But because that is going to be 7 days past the current 30-day window, we want to make an request for an extension of the 30-day at the same time. So that way everything is flowing, and by November 30th, we'll have an answer for these gentlemen on what we're going to do.
Maybe we're
Correct.
It's not necessary. Like if we do the motion,
Full board still has to do it.
right, but if we make if we move to settler, not word salad. If we actually vote on it with a condition today, does that, I mean, then it's still gotta go to the full board.
Yeah.
Would that satisfy the 30-day?
The
No.
22
We'll have to keep going.
But how about this?
Yeah.
If they can supply it to us quickly. It
Yeah,
could be
by
brought
Monday.
to, no, it could be brought to leadership tomorrow. If they can get the information.
I honestly don't think
No.
that between tonight and tomorrow, everybody's gonna have a chance to review that information and be able to vote on it at leadership tomorrow. I think that's unfair for them to have to provide. I think it's unfair to the board to have to read it and review it before tomorrow's meeting.
By the way, the
I mean,
other
that's
thing
just
is,
my opinion. No, it would be good, but I think it's a lot of information that we're gonna have to review. And in order to give it a fair shot, we need to be able to have the time to review it.
by the way, if we don't ask OCM for the extension, the vote of the full board will be moot because the 30 days will have passed. We have to ask for the extension in order for the vote of the full board to make sense.
Okay,
And
so
yeah.
just for, it's.
Is that
part of
correct,
the
Chris?
time. and we still have another
So that's what I'm
location.
saying. You can just do, you can do the extension. You put, pass the motion for the extension. Table it until next month and that's it. It's a done deal instead of doing two motions.
No, Chris.
Want to do that?
All right.
Done, and these guys have been.
It's
Okay.
not fair.
So let's make motions.
Yeah, first
The
motion
first
is for the
motion-
extension.
Okay, so Miguel made the extension, motion to, request an extension for 7-Eleven lighting.
Guys,
Edgar seconded it. We had our discussion. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries unanimously. Okay,
So
now we
motion
need a
number
second
two.
motion.
oh, Veronica.
Close the wording for it?
Yeah.
Go ahead, you can state the motion.
Motion to issue a conditional letter of no objection by the board contingent of the redacted OCM application and notarized proof of lease transfer and buyout by Monday, November the 20th.
I second.
Okay.
Okay, so motion made by Ed, seconded.
Should I repeat it?
No?
No.
And it was by the committee. You said by the board.
Oh, by the committee.
What's?
Correction, yeah,
By
he's
the-
right. By the board, yeah.
By the committee.
Yeah, he's right.
For what?
No, he said by the board.
He meant by
By
the
the
committee.
Not by the committee.
He missed it.
She didn't write
Restate
nothing.
it.
She didn't write nothing.
Motion to issue a conditional letter of no objection contingent of the redacted OCM application reviewed by the committee and notarized proof of lease transfer and buyout by Monday, November the 20th.
I
Okay.
second.
Well, just technically still has to be reviewed. by the
Yeah,
board,
yeah.
But we'll leave that wording for now. So, Ed made the motion, Strano seconded it. Any discussion? Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
I,
Aye.
Any objections? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Thank you. So
Where do I submit it?
Chris Karka, do you have his information? That's where this application was sent to?
Right.
So it's C Kirka. Chris, can you state your email address, ckirka@?
In our website, under the contacts.
Yeah, so if you go to the CB11 website, look for Chris Kirka and send it to him.
But please, do see the district manager and other coordinator, just in case.
Yes. So it's Chris Kirka, you're gonna send it to him and you're gonna copy district manager Jeremy Warnicki and community coordinator Harriet Lasky.
So you're gonna forget all this.
Okay, so if you give me your paper, I'll write down the names. Okay? Now, if you could send us that information by Monday, we'll circulate it out to the community board and we'll make a decision at the full board meeting on 11:30. Now, the full board meeting, you can come, you can sign in for gallery if you want to make any statements before the motion is put, because we do the gallery session before we do any motions. If you have anything to say, you're welcome to come to the community board just to see what the outcome is. And again, what we vote on here today is referral to the community board, and then the community board will make the final decision on what the referral to the OCM is going to be. You are welcome to stay for the remainder of meetings, but you are free to leave if you'd like.
We can go.
Thank you so much.
Oh, we got another.
Okay, so those are the people that you should send it to. I don't know who's sent it to.
That's his.
Okay.
I think
Now,
that is.
take care.
thank you guys very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
It's a long one, boy. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yes,
Now-
if you can understand.
Have the representatives from 1417 Pelham Parkway North arrived either in office or online. Okay, so Chris, when did they submit this? They submitted this 10/16,
Right.
or that's when they signed it.
I made 3 phone calls. It's no answering machine or nothing. I sent an email, crickets. These people didn't respond at all.
All right, well, this should
Okay.
be short.
So we're gonna hear from the public, because a lot of people took the time out of their day to come tonight, so I wanted them to be able to speak. So we have it on record, how the public feels about this. We can either table this and ask for an extension, or make a motion tonight after we hear from the public. Keep in mind that the representatives are not here to speak for themselves, which is a decision that was out of our control. Okay, but let's start with this. Ed, you wanted to say something?
Oh, yeah, no, I would like to table it because I have questions about their people that are on the license and ownership and another because they have a Emmy Serrano that's listed on there, but she's also affiliated with Happy Greens New York LLC. So like I have questions about the implications of
Okay.
having these, you know, multiple businesses.
I agree, because they're asking to be, it's a residential area. It's
Oh,
already,
yeah.
that's like the biggie.
That's the other thing, the residential zoning.
And it's
R41, so how
Yeah.
are
This
they?
is the location that
Yeah,
they're asking
this is just-
for the.
Yeah,
I mean,
no,
this
no, no,
is-
no, no.
Ridiculous.
I mean, there's questions about the residential character of the neighborhood. I mean,
Right.
we need to be able to talk to these guys.
Yes.
I looked it up and the zoning is R41, which is only residential.
Huh? Yeah.
So I'm not sure.
Are you planning to change it with the city, yes or no?
What happened?
Are you planning to change it or no?
I
Are
mean,
the
that's a
plans
big
have
bank on
changed?
that
Yeah.
because,
We
you know,
don't
No,
have,
there's no plan to change. It's
Exactly.
that's a big.
family, one family.
it's all residential over there. That
Could it be
particular
just-
area where
could
they're
it-
set in is R41, so. Okay, let's get this in a semblance of order. We can make that motion after we've heard from the public, okay? So we have people who registered, I'm sorry. Excuse me for my,
Oh, wait.
I lost my agenda.
Here it is, here it is.
Okay, so we have people, so the people that registered, I'm going to call on first, and then anybody else who would like to speak. We can do, yeah. Because of the time limit, we're gonna make sure that you'll have 2 minutes to speak. The committee can ask questions after that. I'd like to limit some of the questions from the committee, if that's possible. I don't want to repeat questioning if it's already been asked, okay? So in the interest of time. So first on our list, we have Phyllis Nastasio.
Hi, so obviously it's a residential area. The zoning is R4. It's not the place for this. You can't put a pot shop in the middle of private homes like that. That's it. I'll keep it
That's a
short.
question, okay.
I think everybody's gonna say the same thing.
Okay, that was quick. Okay, next up, we have Benjamin Schwartz and Ashley Castillo.
They're online. They're right there.
Okay,
Hi, just
Ashley?
1 second.
let me know when you're ready.
Okay.
They're speaking about. No, they're not registered.
Are you speaking about this particular location or are you speaking on something else?
Something else.
Yeah, we're speaking on the Fresh Communities Act, so we're ready. There's something else.
Yeah, can we ask you, I'm sorry, can you hold off? We just want to speak about this particular cannabis location since that's the issue that we're on right now. And then you can speak right afterwards.
No problem.
Thank you. Okay, so Rita Sulo.
Hi.
Hi.
This is for the board members. This is concerning the cannabis license for 1417 Pelham Parkway North, which I'd like to highlight is a semi-attached private residence. The DOB has confirmed that this is an R41 zone and cannot be used for retail or commercial use. I strongly oppose to issuing a cannabis license to any individual who lives in a private residence for the following reasons. Allowing cannabis to be sold out of private dwellings will increase loitering and traffic in our residential areas. It will adversely affect the real estate value of the homes in our neighborhood and increase crime in our community, which we don't have enough officers or patrol cars to handle as it is. Without adding statistics, the news reports alone share the negative effects that these establishments have on our communities and quality of life. Individuals frequenting the site could potentially utilize the greenway parallel to the proposed dispensary for consumption, which would significantly impact the student population who travel to and from the local schools in our area. We must prevent anything that encourages the use of marijuana, especially among our children. Exposure to adults who publicly consume marijuana normalizes its use and places young individuals at risk for significant harm. In my opinion, marijuana should only be sold through a medical dispensary. In doing so, it ensures that it is closely monitored, the integrity of the product, and the safety and well-being of the consumer. Thank you for your time and consideration to my opinion.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next up, Linda DeSantis.
Hi, that's me, Linda.
Okay,
I'm a resident in the community for almost 50 years, and I see the deterioration, and this is totally gonna put the nail in the coffin. It's a residential area, and like Rita said, there's a school over there. You know, people are gonna come out of that hospital, these strung out people, they're gonna go over there and just get some more stuff, and it can't be.
Okay.
okay, that's it. Thank you. Next up, Eric Schoch.
Hi, Eric.
Hi.
So there was a study done in 2023 of February of this year by a government group, the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Service Administration, which talked explicitly about the dangers of marijuana use. And what it said was 1 in 10 people who use marijuana will become addicted. It also says marijuana causes and can be linked to depression, anxiety, suicide, and psychotic episodes. It also affects timing, movement, and coordination. And this is important because people who drive under the influence of marijuana can experience dangerous effects, slow reactions, lane weaving, decreased coordination, and difficulty reacting to signals and sounds on the road. So this should not be allowed in. Thank you.
Thank you, Eric. And Cecile Rodriguez. Cecile, you're online? We can't really hear you.
And is it about this?
Yes, it's kind of.
Michelle?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now. Go ahead.
Okay. Again, I've been a resident in this neighborhood for 40 years. We came from the projects to move to this area because we felt it was a better place and a better area to raise our family. Having a Spencer resident, I feel would certainly change the character of the neighborhood and who would be coming to, well, the criminal element that it can attract. And we spoke, that was mentioned even in the previous comment and situation. I truly feel businesses should be in business areas, not in residential areas. And it's kind of surprising that anyone would come up with the idea of tucking away a cannabis dispensary among private homes. So I very much am against this application and do hope that it's not permitted to move forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Cecile.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, so that is those who registered to speak about the cannabis permit applications. Anyone in the room? Bob, go right ahead.
Yes. Okay, I've done a little more extensive work. There is a covenant, a 10-page covenant, that on page 9 states that the security instrument covers real property improved or to be improved by 1 or 2 family dwellings only. That's initialed by the buyer and person who signed that. Now, as far as the higher path goes, from the New York Department of State Business Regulation, which was updated on 4/21/22, Higher Path is a New York domestic limited liability company which filed on April 13, 2022. Company's filing status is listed of active file number 6457900. Registered agent for this company is Surin Philip and is located at 209 West 242nd Street, Bronx, New York, 10471, which is Axe Realty. Okay. It is not, so Axe Realty. Now, it continues, the company's principal address is 132 West 36th Street, New York, New York. The company has 1 contact on record. The contact is Emil Serrano, as was said before, from New York. And there are 38 companies at this address with Ms. Serrano as the contact. So I would suggest that this board reject this application, A, for being in a residential area, and for it is, well, just rejected, period.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Bob. Okay, anyone else in the room like to speak on it? State your name again, I'm sorry.
My name is Laura Scudieri, and
I'm gonna read from my notes. My family and I are residents of the neighborhood for 42 years. It is a beautiful neighborhood, and when my husband and I were in our 20s, it was a great place to live and raise our children. While the neighborhood has changed, it is still great, and we want to keep it this way. Allowing marijuana to be sold from private homes will put our neighborhood at risk, and it will have a negative impact on our residents. Although the licensing piece would bring a revenue of $1,000 per application and $7,000 per license. So that alone is going to bring a lot of money for the county. It is not feasible, not safe, and not what the majority of the residents want. We have schools in our area, both public and private. We have many children that walk in our neighborhoods that are innocent and need our adult guidance. I have worked with children for over 30 years, and believe me, you'd be surprised at the stories I can relate. That some children start using drugs, some right in their home with their parents. I ask you, why are these incidents ACS reportable? All right? And yet we are considering allowing someone to actually obtain a license to sell. Now, to me, and I am sure to many others, it is unconscionable. Furthermore, the ruse may be only to sell marijuana, but it will escalate to more. Should this be allowed, many more will follow, and then the neighborhood will see an increase in drug addicts, the neighborhood will see an increase in crime.
30 seconds.
The neighborhood will see an increase in people driving under the influence, the neighborhood will decline in the quality of life. The neighborhood will see an increase in the number of people leaving the area. In addition, let's not forget that the use of marijuana can increase feelings of depression and anxiety, leading to the need to use more. In some cases, the use of marijuana can make a person paranoid, and evidence does suggest that it may change the structure of the developing brain and impact the short-term memory in children. If there is a need for marijuana, let it be sold by a licensed pharmacist so that it can be monitored. Sorry.
All right, thank you so much.
Does anybody from the committee have a question for her? No? Okay, sorry.
It's
We're just
okay.
trying to keep it
Just
under
a few
the
more
two
lines.
minutes. Thank you. Anyone else like to speak?
May I speak? My phone is dying.
Right here.
Hello?
All right,
May
if
I
you don't
speak?
mind,
My phone is dying.
I'm going to let Roxanne speak because her phone is dying. Go ahead, Roxanne.
All right, thank God it's my phone, not me dying, but that's beside the point. I'm calling Garth 711 Leidig. I'm very concerned that we just take people's word for granted. It's the same owner that owns the Cornerstone on Kruger, the Cornerstone store on Kruger Avenue on Leidig. That's been a trouble spot and many complaints from residents for years. There was even a shooting there near his store. What happens inside the store and outside the store has been an ongoing concern for the community itself surrounding Leidig Avenue. And now we're going to reward the same owner of the property because there's some sort of transfer of lease. I don't believe it's not the same players. I think it's unfair for them to skip the line and get rewarded for not following the process that OCM had created for everyone. It's about equity, a level playing field. And I feel so sad that constantly Palm Parkway is being dumped on. No one on the community board is fighting for this district. And whenever I'm not able to attend the meeting, I come in and see already you're okay with just stipulation that they have to give you some lease agreement. You could ask for a 30-day extension. We need to really look into this and get more details on the new players, because I still think they're involved with the same owner who owns both properties, the 711 Leidig and the grocery store at the corner, and they are not good neighbors. I'm telling you, the community, I live here, so I know, unfortunately, people who don't live here are making decisions on this Palm Parkway. It's very sad that people who just moved into this district are making determination of that impacting this community in a very bad manner. Anyhow, thank you for your time because my phone is dying. Have a good night.
Thank you, Roxanne.
Thanks.
Okay, back to the room.
Lisa.
Lisa.
Yeah, I just wanna say, I mean, on Pelham Parkway, it's a private house. Would you be allowed to open up a liquor store in your house? Yeah,
Or
you
even
know
a
what I
deli.
mean? You can't do that, or sell cigarettes. I mean, I have to show ID if I wanna buy a pack of cigarettes in Rite Aid. And I think that's a good thing. And kids are kids. So you pay someone to go in and buy you the drug. Just like when we grew up, you paid somebody to go in the liquor store to get you whatever you needed, the beer, and they brought it outside. So all this scanning and all this baloney, kids will get around it. There's always a way. And she's right. I mean, it'll destroy the whole area. And you have all the kids are walking. People are running on and walking with baby carriages on the walkway from Williamsbridge Road to Eastchester Road. Why do we have to?
No.
Yeah, and if one person can have it in the house, it's a lot of money involved. It'll be all over. And they've been doing it illegally. They can't have it. I'm done. Thank you.
Thank you. Who else in the room? State your name, please.
Yes, my name is Gladys, and I'm in the community, and I've been here for over 20 years. I agree with what the majority of the ladies who have spoken said, and the gentlemen who are against this particular cannabis shop opening up on, actually in both places. And question was brought up, is it good for the community? Absolutely not. I don't know how we even fathom thinking of dollars, making dollars and trading that for the safety and the quality of life that people deserve and people have worked for many years. We're taxpayers. We paid property taxes. We moved here because it was a better place, because we could feel comfortable walking in the street, safe with our neighbors. And somebody is actually thinking of giving a license to someone to have a cannabis shop in their house, a residential area. That's absurd. It's absurd because we have children, schools, senior citizens, and disabled persons within the family settings in this area. And I'm totally against it. And I know many of my neighbors are against it. I'm sorry that they're not here, but I really feel strongly about this. There's so many better things that could be put in these locations, senior centers, daycares, youth centers, that the three gentlemen that were here have other businesses that they venture in, but they want to put cannabis in the Bronx in this neighborhood.
Right.
Unbelievable. Just, it's just outrageous. And, you know, we need to actually come together and stand against this. And putting something at 1417 Pelham Parkway North, it just can't happen. It can't happen because it's definitely going to affect the neighborhood. It's going to bring the property values down, and it's going to make people feel very unsafe. The element that will come, that will be attracted to that area is going to just do so much. In the words of the gentleman who was here.
Time
you
up.
can't
I didn't get to
control
give you a
criminal
30-second
activity
warning.
within the
I was too engrossed in their
All right.
I'm sorry, I
Right.
didn't get to give you a 30-second warning, but the time is up.
Veronica, I'm sorry. These people didn't come. We don't have any information about them. We've heard from everyone that it is, and I looked it up. It's definitely in the residential area. I do want to hear everyone speak, but I think the majority of us are probably not considering this application, right? Chris called them 4 times, couldn't get anyone on the phone. So is it possible to just, call the question, vote, up or down, and then finish, right?
Yes, but all these people came out tonight. They waited all this time to speak and
Okay.
have their voices heard. I want them to
But-
be able to
Oh,
have
okay.
their voices heard. So that we have it on record to
I know,
tell
but I
them,
think
hey, you know what, we don't, it's okay. We already know how most of people feel. We don't need to hear from you. There might be people who feel otherwise. They have a right to be heard too. I don't know if that's the case, but I want everyone to be able to have their say. I know it's late and I'm trying to move it along so that way everybody could get home, but they did make their way out here and I do want to give them the respect to let them be heard.
Understood.
Okay, but thank you. I appreciate it. Okay, anyone else in the room that would like to be heard?
So what are we doing exactly with this 1417 tonight? Are we,
So right now, we're gonna see if anybody online wants to speak. After that, we can make a motion, we can make 2 different motions. A motion to table it, or make a motion to send a letter of objection or a letter of non-objection. And we can basically make the motion and the referral tonight. So those are 2 ways we could go about it. So it's up to the committee.
When is the 30 days started?
The 30 days started on the 16th, so technically today, no, the 23rd is
I
lighter.
really cared it would have been.
They signed it
Oh,
up.
yeah.
That's-
Not tomorrow, we don't.
Yeah.
So whether you take action or not, it really doesn't matter because tomorrow is.
Well, no, we can vote today. We can vote today and do an objection. Or we
Or-
can do the extension, but
Yeah.
Honestly, they haven't been, they Chris has been trying to notify them. There's been no answer, there's been no response.
Okay, then,
So it's up to the committee if you want to, get an extension and table it, or we could just make a motion tonight. But let's hear from the people on WebEx, see if anybody wants to speak, and then we'll go ahead and make the motions. Go ahead, Edgar.
Just a quick clarifying question. Since this is a residential area anyway, OCM wouldn't even pass it or even think. about it.
Probably not, yeah.
So it's kind of no point.
I know, but we still have to.
Yeah, it's an R4, I know, they will not.
Is there anyone online that would like to speak about 1417 Pelham Parkway North?
Yes, I'd like to just give my statement. I feel that, like everybody else here, it's in a very residential area, which will have an impact as it would in any neighborhood. And I think that we should do a motion and we should make a vote tonight. But also I just want to point out, and it was said in the chat, that even though New York State, it is legal, but these should not be businesses that have storefronts that impact our communities. They should be managed through hospitals and through clinics. So that's the end of my statement.
Thank you, Bernadette.
Anybody else?
Okay, anybody else online that would like to make a statement? Going once,
Going twice, three times.
going twice. Okay, then that ends our discussion of the matter. Does the committee have a motion?
I have a motion. I move that we reject their application.
Second.
Okay, so just to reword the motion,
You guys-
Juan wants to,
Go ahead, go ahead.
Juan makes a motion that we send a letter of objection to OCM regarding the location of 1417 Pelham Parkway. It was seconded by.
Second.
Wait a minute, does it
Seconded
have-
by who?
hold on a second.
Online, or does it have to be in person?
You gotta be in person.
It have to
babe.
be-
Online.
Yes,
No, no.
yes.
Online they can
We need,
vote.
in person, we need a quorum, but we could have a motion from online too. Yeah. So, okay, so we got a second. Any discussion? Okay,
No,
All
I think
those-
we have to make a motion in person.
No.
No?
No. You can make a motion.
What is it? We have to make a motion online or on person, because I think I read something like that,
wait. Jeremy, are you on?
That's not a rule. That's not a rule.
I think we could, I think as long as we have a quorum in person, we
Right.
can vote, so they can make a motion.
Yes, as long as you have a quorum in person, those who are part of the committee can vote who are online. Everyone
Okay.
part of that, yes.
All right, so we have the motion by Juan, seconded by Ed. No discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Jeff? Abstentions? Motion carries. Okay.
It's not gonna take what
So,
all this.
that's gonna be our referral, everyone, to the full board meeting on November 30th. You're all welcome to join us, if you'd like to hear how the full board votes, but that's gonna be our referral to them, okay?
This motion.
No, Juan made the motion
Juan
and
made-
Ed seconded it. Okay, now, we have Benjamin Schwartz and Ashley Castillo from CUNY School of Public Health. We'd like to hear from you now, Ashley. Thank you for being patient and waiting for us.
Thank you for allowing us to speak tonight. And yes, we are going to change the pace. So my name is Ashley Castillo, and I'm here with my colleague Benjamin Schwartz, and we're both constituents of Community Board 11, as well as current MD and PhD students at Albert Einstein College of Medicine and CUNY School of Public Health. We are here to discuss Bill A0718, otherwise known as the Fresh Communities Act, which seeks to address challenges caused by lack of access to fresh foods by offering financial assistance to underserved urban and rural communities, aiming to rectify adverse conditions of living in food insecure areas. So access to fresh, healthy food is a fundamental human right that is essential for the overall well-being and prosperity of communities. Unfortunately, about 10.5% of households in the state experience food insecurity, where residents have limited access to affordable, nutritious options. Given that New York is unique in its population distribution, it is important to note that areas with higher poverty rates are more likely to be designated as food deserts, regardless of their rural or urban designation. Access to nutritious food is directly linked to improved health outcomes. By reducing reducing the prevalence of food deserts. The goal is to see lower rates of obesity, diabetes, and other diet-related diseases, ultimately leading to a healthier and more productive population.
Somewhat based on the Fresh Communities Act that was enacted only in New York City, this bill expands on this piece of legislation to be enacted statewide to decrease the prevalence of food deserts and foster a healthier society. The bill aims to combat this issue by implementing a series of comprehensive measures to improve food access, promote local agriculture, and foster economic development. Namely, these key provisions include the establishment of community food hubs, incentives for urban agriculture efforts, strengthening of food education programs, expanding SNAP and WIC eligibility, and promotion of alternative food entrepreneurship. While the investment in the health and well-being of our society should be an inherent duty of our government, the added benefits of promoting economic development with an environmentally sustainable approach makes this bill extremely necessary to pass as soon as possible. We urge you to pass this bill by working with your colleagues in the New York State Assembly, where the bill currently sits in the Economic Development Committee there. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. So is there an ask for the committee today or just that we take into consideration?
Yeah, we just wanted to advocate on behalf of this bill and just express the importance of having more supermarkets or local food stores for the community members in Community Board 11.
Thank you. Do you need a letter of support from us or? Do you?
No.
Okay, so you just wanted to bring it to our attention and.
Correct, yes.
Thank you. Does anyone on the committee here in person have a question for them?
So what's the difference in between this and like, let's say like the fresh zones that the city has out there? Is there any relation to that? Because I know that when we look at the zoning, the ZOLA portals, there's an indicator on there that you're able to select, and it'll give you like a green map of fresh zones. Are these two connected in any way?
I'm not actually sure. I believe that's through through the city. So this is a bill that's being considered by the statewide assembly. I'm not really sure though, actually is.
Yeah, I'm not sure what you're referring to in particular. But just to kind of give you some context or something to reference, we're currently in like Eastchester Morris Park area. There was a Stop and Shop not too far from us that was recently closed. Now we have one supermarket in this area that is within walking distance, but that already, like, we're limited already. We were limited with just the 2 supermarkets, and now we just have one for, I believe, like maybe a 3-mile radius, or maybe less than that. And so the point of this bill is to increase access to more fresh foods in supermarkets by like approving more financial investments in people who are interested in opening up supermarkets within these areas that are considered food deserts and low income. So I'm not exactly sure what you're referring to, but this bill is to provide financial assistance for those interested in opening up like supermarkets or grocery stores within areas that are deemed food deserts in New York State.
Do you have any idea of the qualifications for any of the food retail establishments to be eligible for assistance under the act?
The specific qualifications, no. So no, that's actually I don't have that. I'm gonna stop there. Yeah.
Yeah, we can probably look it up on the bill though. I think there has to be like one of the things that I remember from the top of my head is that they have to hire residents within 20 miles of the establishment. So that's one. Another is it has to be like it has to be a certain size limit. That was just another that I can think of. They also have to approve SNAP benefits and WIC benefits. And another one that I can remember from the top of my head is they have to have like partnership with local like farms or like local local farms, people who are in agriculture that locally sourced fresh foods. And so I know they have to work with like the New York State Department of Agriculture for that. So those are the things that I can say from the top of my head that would be like requirements.
Would you be able to send to the board office like details of what exactly the bill states? So that way we are more informed on it.
Absolutely.
Send it to Jeremy Warnicki. If you go to the Bronx CB11 website, he's our district manager, and copy Harriet Lasky and Chris Kirker on it, and they'll be able to disseminate it out to the full board. So that way we can read it up on it more.
Absolutely. You said Jeremy Warnicki, and where were the other 2 names? I'm sorry.
Harriet Lasky and Chris Kirker.
Okay, absolutely, we can do that.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Bernadette, you had a question?
Yes. Now, I just want to point out now incentives to open up these kind of amenities that our community needs is much more of an incentive, a much better of a thing to do than a cannabis. Okay, this is okay. This is just a point I want to make. And by the way, there's two supermarkets. There's one on Wallace Avenue in Morris Park, and there's the other one. So there are two supermarkets, but they're small. And having our Stop and Shop was wonderful. And we are a food desert. We are definitely a food desert, especially with the upzoning proposals and the more of the residents that are going to be pushed into our communities, and most of that in Community Board 11. But my one question is, are there going to be any, is this going to be for supermarkets to give the small businesses more incentive? Is that what this bill is for?
It's not specifically for supermarkets. No, so there's like kind of range of food establishments. Yeah. It's not just specifically for supermarkets. no.
Okay, so my question for that is, that's why I was asking, is are there going to be certain criterias for people to be able to shop at those food establishments? In other words, with SNAP or food vouchers, etc. So the regular person, or the regular middle class person who is now is now the new poverty, okay, will not have access to that. So that's what I'm asking. Is there a criteria for what you're asking?
A criteria for like the pricing for the establishments?
No, to be able to shop, to be able to participate.
No, so it'll be open to the public. Yeah, it's as far as I know, it's not. There's no criteria to be able to shop. It would be open to everyone.
The only criteria that I'm familiar with is in terms of the location, right? Like it has to be within a designated area that's considered one, low income, and a food desert. Those are the only two things that I can think of from the top of my head that they would only fund supermarkets or food establishments that are within food deserts or that are within communities that are considered low income.
Okay, well, we hit both. It's okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anybody else have any questions?
I just
Online?
have a comment.
Okay, go ahead, Tis.
I grew up in a time when we had fresh fruit and vegetable stands all over. We had one on East Chester Road. They're gone, so I welcome having fresh produce available. So I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, absolutely.
Send the information to Chris.
Yeah.
There's a link on the agenda.
That's a question.
One question, so in my section where I reside in the community, there's a number of, I guess, people from other countries who sell vegetables, like vendors. Would this bill help support them in their business to become more compliant?
Application
They offer fresh fruit and they offer,
The street vendors. Like the street vendors.
Yeah.
I think it has to be like a building establishment. I don't think it can be like a street vendor. I'm not.
So again, I'm not too familiar with the criteria, but in general, it's supposed to be an exception, but there are provisions for they call it alternative food entrepreneurship, and I think that might apply actually.
Okay.
But I'm not. They'd have to go through the process. I'm not 100% sure on that if that would be eligible.
Okay, as Miguel just pointed out to me, there is a link on our agenda to the bill, so we can read up and see exactly what the bill is about. So, thank you, Miguel, for pointing that out. So it is there for anyone who wants to read it. Okay, do we have any more questions? Okay, I think that's it. Ashley and Benjamin, thank you so much for coming tonight and giving us the information. We appreciate it.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Okay, so we did our motions. Do we have the committee? Do we have any old business to go over?
Madam Chair, if you're still in the gallery section, I'd like to say something for the gallery section.
Yes, I'm sorry about that. Yes, gallery session.
Okay. At the town hall meeting, we heard from the executive director of OCM, who said the OCM is short of help. We have seen last month 2 applicants who appeared that were across the street from each other on White Plains Road. Luckily, the landlord of one of the applicants withdrew the application and said, I don't want a cannabis store there. Tonight, we see one that was within 1,000 feet of the one from last month. CB11 should send a resolution to the state elected officials to increase the time from 30 days to hear a application for cannabis to at least 60 days. And that resolution should come from this committee, and it should come tonight so the full board can vote on it.
Does anyone?
Wait, can you repeat that again? I'm sorry.
That CB11 asked the local elected officials the state elected officials, since it's a state law, to increase the time from 30 days to 60 days on cannabis applications. And that it should come tonight from this committee so it can be heard at the full board.
Does anyone want to make a motion for that?
I would like to make a motion to send a letter to our state officials to request an increase from 30 days to 60 days to have more time to review the cannabis applications.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Joanne? Any discussion?
Wouldn't that have to go to OCM though? I mean, to the elected?
The elected will.
The elected will.
It's already in Victoria.
Yeah.
And extensive for 60 days.
So we're.
He sent Axel.
Yeah, didn't we already have a conversation about that? About making it 60 days?
No, but this would be for the.
State
for the-
cannabis.
That's at the state.
Yeah, so make it standard.
So the assembly person who's a part of the state would request that.
Right.
I think it's a great move, right, to ask for such things. But the reality of that happening is very slim. But we do know that we can ask for extensions. Why don't we just make a motion to have an automatic extension be sent to OCM no matter what application comes in? Because we already know that they will give us that leniency already.
But do we know for a fact that every extension will be accepted by the OCM?
No.
I mean, that's also a good thing to do, but it's still like, it's very, very unlikely that OCM will they will even move from a 30-day to a 60-day for us.
Right. Okay, Juan? We can't hear you. You might be muted. You can see your hands moving.
Yeah, that's when I do my best work. Can we make a motion that our committee develop a standard, right? Like a standard questionnaire within a certain period of time, not just put it, out there within a certain period of time so that we can have a standard that we can then, ask questions of these applicants. The applicants know what to expect when they come to our committee, what information we need, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then if we need an extension, I guess we can do that on a case-by-case basis. But, that will give a chance to the applicants to be able to get this done within the 30 days that OCM requires them to do it. And for us to be able to get this done within the 30 days that OCM wants us to do it.
Right, I was gonna bring that up under new business. We had spoke a little earlier about revising the liquor license application that we send to them to lean more to our cannabis, so there'll be a cannabis application. And I want to try and get that done before the next meeting. I was gonna work with the staff to get it done and then send it to the committee for their perusal on it and any suggestions that they have in amending it before the next meeting. So if that's something that I want to work on, so that way by the time we come to our next economic development meeting, we have something in place that, even before that, so anybody that comes forward with a letter, we want to get it out there to them. So that way they can fill it out before our next meeting. So that's something I'm going to work with the staff on, and then we'll get it out to the committee members for their feedback on it and try and get this in place.
So can we table the gentleman's?
There's a motion.
There is a motion on the floor, though. It's up to Ed if he wants to withdraw the motion or continue with the motion.
I would like to withdraw my motion based on the information that's been discussed.
Okay. So based on the, we're withdrawing the motion. Does anybody else want to make a motion regarding this at all? Okay, so there's no motion on the floor, but we will get that application in order. And until then, if we see that this 30-day extension request is not honored by the OCM whenever we put it out there, we may have to revisit this because, we want to be able to have the time to look at the information. But I will get that, we'll start working with the board staff on this application so that we have something in place. Okay? Is there any other gallery? In-house? Online? Okay, so that ends the gallery session. Old business. Anyone? Okay, any new business? I just stated what I was gonna give for new business. Is there any other new business?
I have one. The Teamsters letter. Is it possible that we can reach out to them and get them to come in and to talk and present on what they were asking?
What are they?
So Harriet sent an email. And it's the Teamsters Local Union number 210. So
Right.
do you have the letter next to you, Malcolm?
I do actually. You want me to share it?
Can you read it? Only because my throat is getting really sore.
I got you. Oh man, that's a lot to read. All right, I'll read it. All right. So it says, "Dear members of Community Board 11, my name is Michael Parker, and I am the Director of Organizing for Teamsters Local 210, which is located at 1911 Richmond Avenue, Staten Island, New York 10314. Teamsters Local 210 is a labor union which represents over 9,000 employees within pharmaceutical, manufacturing, warehouse, and airline industries within New York City, Long Island, and Hudson Valley. As a representative of Teamsters Local 210, we are very invested in making sure that there is secure labor peace within cannabis industry and that each owner is willing to be part of the New York Cannabis Regulatory Enforcement Assistant and Marketplace Modernization Act, which is abbreviated CREAM, which requires all licensed applicants in New York to enter a labor peace agreement, LPA, with a bona fide labor organization. A labor peace agreement with Teamsters Local 210, a strong labor organization with a long history, will create a clear, drama-free path for workers to become union, which means better wages, better benefits, and safer working conditions. Our jurisdiction and experience in the pharmaceutical industry makes us a strong candidate to become the hub for labor peace agreements in the cannabis industry. We look forward to making a presentation to Community Board 11, getting your input, and to ensure that our efforts take into consideration your concerns, to be sure that this industry meets the standards that your community expects. Also continue saying, any assistance in our endeavor will be deeply appreciated. We want the best for our community and all communities throughout the state. A copy of our labor peace agreement can be forwarded to the party of interest with just a simple request. Thank you, Michael Parker, Director of Organizing.
Okay. I have no problem reaching out to them to see if they want to make a presentation here at the economic development meeting.
Okay.
I'm assuming, because I don't see him listed on the side as a contact, I could probably reach them at the phone number in the letterhead.
Right.
All right, so I'll give them a call and see if maybe we could get them in for our December meeting.
Gracias.
Okay. Any other new business?
I have I guess maybe it's a question.
Okay.
If there's a way that we could reach out to city planning and find out if anybody's applying for like zoning variances or a change in zoning designations to accommodate dispensaries in residential areas.
Does anybody know who city planning do we have a contact in city planning that we might be able to reach out?
Somebody from land.
Isn't there a thing online?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think there's like an online
If they
page.
apply for zoning variance, don't they have to notify the community board?
Yeah, I think there's like an online page.
Yeah, but I'm trying to know like
Not everybody would.
if somebody's privy to something.
PSA.
DOB and the BSA.
I think it's DOB's website, that
Yeah.
you can go on there.
Yeah, like an online map.
Okay.
Where you can just click.
That's
and-
where I got the zoning for 14-17 from the.
Yeah, that's where I got it.
So we just constantly have to be on the search then
Yeah.
and be vigilant of that. And if somebody
And I
tries to.
move that's your job.
something that should, once that is, requested, shouldn't that come directly to you? Shouldn't that be streamlined or really?
It should be.
Community board is supposed to be notified of any
It should
zoning.
be, yeah.
So can't you make a motion? You guys are doing a great job of making motions tonight.
That'd be a motion.
But I think what he's trying to say, that people might skip steps.
Not.
Yeah, like if somebody
You know,
happens to know
sneak
something,
it by.
you know?
Maybe,
So you still there?
maybe that can just be a question that we ask
Yeah.
everyone.
Okay.
You know, did you
Part of
receive
the
any?
questionnaire.
Yeah, part of the questionnaire. Did you receive a zoning
Or
variance?
try to apply for one.
Chris, are you still there? I don't think Chris is there anymore.
I'm here, I'm here.
Oh, hi. Do we get any notifications from DOB about any kind of requested zoning changes?
I think we do.
When it comes to about building, they send us a list, and every week, I think Harriet sends it to, what's her name, to Hazel and to Richard Reynoso when it comes to that matter. If I'm not wrong.
That's about applicants for zoning changes to the areas in CB 11?
Yeah, I mean, usually if they want to change something about, especially about building things, they have to get the permit to change the zone, and so it goes to land use also.
So it always goes to land use.
Yes.
It does.
Can you have that sent to Economic Development Committee too?
Please.
Sure.
Because it would be interesting for us to be able to see that too. Thank you. Cynthia, you have a question?
I actually just wanted to respond to Ed, and it's similar to what Chris was just saying. And I don't know if this is what he's talking about, but back in July, I believe it was, the Housing and Land Use Committees had a joint meeting. And one of the things that came out of that meeting was that both committees, I believe, would be getting those monthly reports that the CB office receives, so that we can kind of review them. I believe we received them in July, but I don't know if there's been anything new or not because I haven't seen anything since. But yes, Ed, I mean, we're supposed to be getting them. Maybe if you touch base with Harriet or Rich or even Ken, might be able to get a better idea.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Mary?
I just wanted to bring up something that is slightly a little shifting gears, which is about the enforcement of our conduct statement. In the chat, there have been disparaging comments which very clearly go against the bullet that says to refrain from unpleasant or disparaging remarks, calling people drug addicts and implying that people are spineless. I'm wondering what process will we be taking to also enforce that this does not continue to be a recurring issue, as it very clearly goes against those stated the conduct statement that was disclosed at the beginning of the meeting and is disclosed every meeting.
So when we see stuff like that going on, we could put a warning in there.
I already did.
Code of conduct. If that continues, then we just have the chat shut down.
Okay.
And it'll be, because we can, I'm sorry, we could boot that person too. If it's, but if there's more than one person that's starting that kind of information, you put a warning in there and we could, if they don't listen, then we could boot them out. The committee says, to boot them out. And if it continues and there's a lot of people doing it, then we just close down the chat.
So then what is the process to bring it up during the meeting, if that is, so I did issue a warning, which is to please refrain from disparaging remarks per the code of conduct, essentially is what I said. And then something else came up from the same individual. So then what is the process to bring that to the attention of the committee to make a decision on it?
So, when you first warn them, please we should put whoever's monitoring, because I don't expect you to monitor it every time, but I will ask different people that are online to monitor the chat, because it's going to be really busy on this end. But the first warning should state, please adhere to the code of conduct rules, or you will be asked to leave the meeting. If they continue it, then you bring it up, you just bring it up and let us know that there is a violation of the code of conduct, and that that person has been warned but has continued to do it, and then we will have them booted from the meeting. You don't have to say a name, but whoever's monitoring it is a co-host for the committee, and they can then have remove the person from the WebEx.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And again, whoever happens to be virtual, and if nobody's virtual and we're all here, then I might have somebody take the keyboard and monitor it while we're doing the meeting, only because these meetings are getting more and more full, and we have the cannabis discussions, and it's hard for me to monitor the chat and construct the meeting, or whatever the word is, because I'm really tired right now. But so it's helpful if we have more eyes on it. So whoever does that, that would be the steps that I would like for people to take to make people. Yes.
Should the first warning be directed at the person that is breaking the code of conduct? Because they might not know you're talking to them. They might be oblivious to the fact of what they're doing.
You could do a private in the chat.
Yeah.
Even
Oh,
can
okay.
do
Yeah, you can do,
one-on-one.
yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
I know exactly what Mary's talking about.
Yeah, there should
I don't
be an
think the
option
person
in there.
She was talking about.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's an option in there. Yeah, you could change it from everyone to, and just pick the person that you wanted and send them the only thing is I'm wondering, does that should be saved when we save the chat, right?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, we can save it. Well,
No,
it's not
because it
too
will-
late.
You know what? I am going to do.
But before you close the meeting, you could copy and paste the chat into
I think Jeremy did.
Yeah, but if somebody else, so Mary, do me a favor. Can you send a private message to Malcolm? Because Malcolm's online. And then when we save the chat at the end of the meeting, I'm gonna ask Jeremy if that chat comes up also, because if we send somebody a private message, they can say that they were never messaged. And if we don't have proof of it, then we can't show it. So this will be a test. We'll see if it actually saves it. And if not, then you just have to warn them in the general chat. But
So Veronica, what's the question?
You have to.
So Jeremy, if Mary is monitoring the chat, we're trying to figure out how she should alert someone that they're violating the code of conduct. If she messaged them privately, directly, like say she messages Malcolm, when we save the chat at the end of the meeting, will that also be saved, or will only the general chat be saved?
Only a general chat. But my advice is, you see something, stop the meeting, so to speak, say something. And
Right, so
you don't have to use names, just speak in general. I did this once when I was at the bylaws committee. I said, David, I think somebody's, people were text messaging me, whatever. And of course I had to say something. So I was like, David, people are violating the code of conduct. And David said, are you referring to the chat? I said, yes. So then we disabled the chat. I do not recommend disabling the chat. I recommend saying some type of public warning. You don't have to use names. And then if it continues again, we will have to boot you and then boot the person. Because I'm going off on a tangent here, but not a lot of people.
No, we were just discussing it, that we would prefer to boot the person than disable the chat.
Okay, I'm sorry. So you already went through all this. I'm sorry. I just jumped
Yeah,
in
we
right
were
now.
No, that's fine. We were just curious if we.
Yeah, well, if it's a private message, unless it's to me, the host, I don't think the question, I don't know this. Whenever like Malcolm, I don't know if or Bernadette, if you've attended enough meetings online, Cynthia, I think, has attended quite a few, or Chris, because he doesn't have the host account. Does it ask you if you want to save a version of the chat?
No.
Usually in any of the meetings, they do say that before you end the meeting, if you want to, you got to make sure you don't move too fast. And you're supposed to, I know I do, I save the chats all the time.
Whenever we close down the meeting, it does give us an option to save the chat. It doesn't give us an option to save any particular chat. It just says the chat.
And Jeremy's correct. Any chat, anything that goes to a particular person is not saved in the chat, only the general.
Well, hold on. It's saved if you're the recipient. So say, at least for what I've seen, if Bernadette privately messages me right now,
Screenshot it.
that part will be saved.
Well, we'll see, right? Did Mary, did you send something to Malcolm? So we'll see when we save the chat. We'll see.
Okay, the other
Well,
option.
you gotta, that's,
Just brought up.
Malcolm and Mary have to save it on their ends, not my end. Because they're only privy to those private messages. So when you close down, like if that's true, if you have that option, you have to click save the chat file or meeting files.
Right. So what we could do, just, if that comes up where we warn somebody, you could do it privately, but we'll have to save the chat before. In other words, print it out or copy it and print it out on a separate page or something. Just have some record of the chat. Just so we can prove if anybody comes back and says they weren't warned, we have the chat somewhere recorded. So we could discuss that another time too, but I think that's the way right now to go about it. You could warn them one-to-one, but if you do that, please copy and paste the chat before you sign off and send it to Jeremy and Harriet and Chris so they have it on record that we asked someone to refrain from violating the code of conduct. Okay.
Yeah, that's,
Anybody else?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Seconded by Joanne. Thank you, everybody who stayed. I appreciate it. It's been a long meeting. Happy Thanksgiving. Be safe. And we will talk to you soon. Thank you, everyone online.
Have a great evening. Good meeting.
Came in at the right time.
Yeah, you sure did.
All right. I'm gonna wait till Mary jumps out, because once I close down the meeting, she probably can't save the chat. Okay.
I want to see
All
if I could save it too.
Yeah, so I wait till you leave before I close down.
It says, do I want to leave the meeting? It doesn't say anything about saving.
So it might just be me.
Oh, wait, save meeting files. Yes, yes.
That's it.
Saving.
No, hold on. You want to test it, Bernadette? Send me a private message, or I send you one.
Wait, okay. All right, I'm canceling. It won't let me cancel. Wait. Oh, there we
Wait,
go.
hold on. Let me just do it right now.
Wait, go ahead. Send me a private message.
Okay. Oh, here we go. Yeah.
Oh, gee, wait a minute. Yep. Yeah, because it says from Jeremy to Bernadette. Let's see if that comes up privately. I think I seem to remember. But okay, I'm gonna
Well,
save
you gotta leave first, because you probably won't be able to save once I end the meeting.
Okay, I'm just going to select my folder here.
Yeah.
All right, good night, Jeremy.
Yep. You too.
Thanks.
All right, Roger, Chris, Dean. If you don't need me, I'm going to close down. I should stop the recording first.